Welcome to I Am Sure Sports.
I am sure sports. You know me there. I'm coast to coast representing. I mean, I say this is righteous representing for Omar. You don't know, come get the sports over here from near and far. Boy. Me say I am sure sports, one thing me sure about. When me say sure, that me not doubt. Come get your sports, get it over here. Come subscribe, repost and share. I am sure sports, one thing me sure about. When me say sure, that me not doubt. Come get your sports, get it over here. Come subscribe, repost and share. If me not sure, that me not say it. Know who score, that me not say it. Never know no game play, that me not say it. If me never seen a game, me not know who play. For your sports news, better come over here so. For your soccer news, then come over here so. If you don't love sports, still come over here so. For the day done, you are gonna love over here so.
So when it comes on to behavior concerning football, Jamaica is decent. I am sure that if we can get all of these things done, set in place by the end of April, it gives us enough time before the World Cup campaign. Not afraid of no Brazil, no Argentina with these crap of players. We are good enough. Remember, like, subscribe, share. Listen, comment, let me know what your thoughts are.
Made up of 18 Jamaican herbs and spices. Add delicious, bold flavor to your next grilling experience. Flavoring sauce, a marinade, basting, condiment, or topping. Trick Nick Jerk Barbecue Sauce.
Trick Nick Jerk Marinade gives your meats and vegetables authentic Jamaican jerk flavor. The spices are directly from Jamaica. Spices like jerk seasoning, allspice, Scotch bonnet pepper, fresh scallions, thyme, ginger, and garlic. The key ingredients to a great jerk marinade. 0% sugar and low in sodium. You want to try it?
William Lee Memorial High School D-Cup Alumni presents its third annual fundraising barbecue on Memorial Day, May 30th, 2022. Wear your favorite jersey to Wilsonwood Park in Mount Vernon, New York. Remember to take exit 12 off the Hutchinson River Parkway. Music by DJ Mad Max of Sound 1000. Proceeds to aid the William Lee High School Jocasta Cup team. For more information, contact Keegan 304-607-4034. Our Codfish at 954-639-2991. Proud of people, it's important. Remember, make sure say, oh no, did that.
All right. Good afternoon. Welcome to I Am Sure Sports for the second time today. I'm your host, my name is Man. It is our JPL preview and review show, and as you see in the thumbnail, as usual, we're supposed to have a couple of guests, on with us, and one of those guests is Mr. Rudolph Speid, who always shares the platform with us on this special edition. So let's see, but we also will be having a quick word with Mr. Danny Beckford, who is the president of the St. Anne Football Association, so he can give us some further explanation. We'll be speaking to him via phone. We'll be also speaking to Mr. Paul Christie about his Dunby Holden team that sits second in the league and the top goal scorer in the league. Was not initially called up, but we have in word that there is a possibility that Mr. Bygrave, we're not sure, he could be called up for when training restarts. We will see about that. So we're going to speak to them. We may have a couple of footballers passing through as well that we will be speaking to. about the games this weekend. The big games coming up. We have the Mount Pleasant versus Cavaliers. We're going to preview that game. We also have Arnett Gardens versus Tivoli Gardens, the Battle of the Gardens. We will also discuss that today. Like I said, we're going to be explaining some more things about the tier 2 system. Also want to highlight a player that I'm going to speak about him. His name is Rashawn Taylor. Rashawn Taylor is a right back that has started. So people that do a lot of research. He just turned 19, which means that he can play in the U20. And of all the players that have been called up for the under-20 team, he has the most minutes. He plays for the team that is second in the competition, dumb beholden, and he has not played in a game that they have lost. His name is Rashawn Taylor. So maybe he was overlooked, but I'm hoping that they can, give him an opportunity to come and display his skills. But first and foremost, before we get into the news and the details and dive deeper into those stuff, let me welcome all of you to I Am Sure Sports. I'm your host, Manins Man. This is the week that we celebrate 1 year of posting our live videos on YouTube and on Facebook. So we are really around now for approximately 1 year, and so we want to thank you for all your support and all that you have been doing to help us grow and continue to provide good content. We have a lot of things that we are doing, new initiatives, and you'll be seeing some of those things coming up shortly, including something that I'm going to speak about in a brief moment. And then we have a 3-minute video from one of our interviews that we are going to play a highlight from it. We're going to be picking out highlights from our interviews and have them in like 3 and 5 minute slots so you can look at them and get some very important information. First, though, let us stop, pause, and reflect and say thank you to our sponsors. Launch Legacy. Handle risk and seek legacy for all your personal insurance needs in Canada and the USA. Visit them at launchlegacy.com or call or text 647-989-0782. Check them out. Also, big thank you to Prestige Finance, where they're lending a helping hand. When you need it the most, you can call Prestige Finance at 876-884-7390. And they will give you a loan of up to 100,000 Jamaican dollars, low interest rate, 0 to 4%. Then you will have no processing fee and same day processing. Want to say thank you also to Trick Nick, who has been with us from the very beginning. It is the Jamaican owned and operated company in Canada that uses authentic Jamaican herbs and spices to make all their products. Go shop with Trick Nick and show them some love and support. Also, a big thank you to all the persons who daily come on and watch our streams. Even if it's you alone, we really appreciate that. Big up the ladies who normally come on, Claudia and Shamilia and all the Tara, all the other ladies who come on and show us love and support. We really appreciate your company as well. All the moderators, we appreciate you, and big thank you to all of you who help me with ideas for content and research information. For those who comment and said we can do this better, we can add this, we can take away this. Thank you as well. For all the footballers who have interviewed, spoken to, really thank all of you who helped me to make connections. Really appreciate your contribution to the platform, and we'll be doing other things to express our great gratitude to you. But on the day that we, well, in the months, in the time leading up to our 1 year celebration, one of the things we wanted to do, because we are in the year 2022, right? We're in the year 2022. The year 2022. So here's what we have done, right? We do things differently, right? We put quality over quantity. And so we have merchandise, and they are shirts only. They're in 2 colors, 2 types, V-neck and round neck, black and white. And we have made 22 because we are in this is the Easter 2022 edition of this shirt. Only 22 for Jamaica, and we have 22 for the United States because we are in the year 2022. That's the Easter edition. All right. Now we will have in the summer and the winter edition. That's when December comes along. But we only have 22 for the local market. So we didn't put it on a store on a website because we have to control the demand because of the supply. So there are 22 shirts. Let me see if I can pull over here so you can see what they look like. Take a look, people. See? Right? So this is the front of the shirt, as you see. You understand? You see the design right here. It has a little split at the side right here. Wonderful. The fist freedom. I am sure sports. The colors of freedom. And in the back of it, coming all the way down, you see the red, yellow, and green, or red, gold, and green. I am sure sports. All right. The material is not your regular t-shirt. It's a jersey material. So there are only 22, right, available here in Jamaica. Only 22. And that's the Easter edition. Only 22 available. And Mr. Speid is going to buy one. All right. I've already. And listen, don't ask the price. Just order the shirt. Because when I'm going to buy a Cavalier shirt, I'm not asking the price. Once the Cavalier shirt is out there, I'm just going to take it. So Mr. Speid is going to buy one and say, if you want one, you have to call management because we can't put it online because I know the demand will be above the supply. So you call and think only 22 in Jamaica and 22 will be available in the States. Listen, don't worry about is it 20. No, what kind of 2022? No, man, listen to people. Look at the shirt. Them shirt, a top thing, them, man. Hey, Duckland. You can't sell him a shirt for $16, man. $16, Duckland. Come on, Duckland, man. Let me see you with the Range Rover. Hey, Duckland. Hey, Duckland. Hey, Duckland. Hey, Duckland. Watch it, Duckland. So that is it, people. All right, but let me bring on my guest, Mr. Mr. Speid. You want yours?
Well, say, Mr. Manningsman, let me tell you, good evening to you and your listeners, and our listeners. So, Manningsman, say, how you know if you're rich, the test how you know if you're rich is when you don't ask the price, for nothing. So any money here, I come ask the price for nothing. Tell him to stop going like you're rich. You're not rich.
I see it for the man. This you see. I see the man say you have no money, bro. You ask price. I see it.
You just take out your card. And
just take out your card. Yeah, man. Yeah, man. They are limited edition. Seriously, we're only doing 22 because we didn't want to, let you buy something of quality and everywhere you go, you see people in it. So this is the Easter edition, only 22, and then the summer edition will be a completely different design, and it will be only 22. So everything we do this year is 22 because it's the year 22. You can wait until you want the 2023 edition. So we don't want you to ask us about price, just order.
Yes.
At the job there. Mr. Speid, but good afternoon because there's a lot to cover today. Good that I have you because Mr. Beckford had also promised to come and help explain the whole tier 2. Because we had a show earlier today. We were talking about the whole tier 2 structure and how it's going
Beckford, you mean Mr. Danny Beckford?
Yeah.
Yeah, man, make him come.
Yeah, so he wanted to come on and kind of explain what he's going to do in Senton with the tier 2 and Major League and how that is going to work before we get into the Premier League, because you have a big match this weekend, and I wanted to talk about the $500, $1,000 to attend the venue, no vaccination. I hear that there's going to be entertainment and free water.
Great.
And so we have a lot of big questions also about the camp because the camp ended today, this
Yes.
morning.
Yes.
All right, so we're going to talk about that. So you want us to do Mr. Beckford first, and then
Yeah,
Mr.
man.
Christie, so we must call him. All right, so let me touch base with Mr. Beckford, and then he explains, and then you can clarify from that perspective. The man
You
said,
have reached the voicemail box of
the man said that only Mr. Speed from the JFF have good internet to see.
Because me never ask the price when I set up my internet.
Oh,
you have reached
I just talked to the man. Yeah, but Mr. Speed, talk to us about the camp in the meantime. That was just completed for the U. Because like I said, there's a lot of question going all over the place about it in terms of
star to make it your tune.
all over social media. So let us know about the camp.
Well, I mean, yeah, we had a successful camp since Wednesday, Thursday, Friday morning. The camp has broken up this morning for the under 20. Of course, the senior team camp broke up yesterday, so they didn't have that camp. But yesterday there was a game between the under 20 and the senior team camp. I heard the game finished 3-3. Very good game. A lot of people were able to express themselves. And I know the coaches are smiling a little. They saw some local talent that was decent. So I think they're smiling a little. So the camp is just the first in a series of camps every week. Supposed to have a camp every week for the under 20 until the end of April.
All right, Mr. Speed. All right, Mr. Beckford.
Yes.
Yeah, man. Welcome to I Am Sure Sports. As promised, so that I'll
I am sure who?
Not I Am Sure. So I Am Sure is in Montego Bay. I am sure sports.
Oh, I am sure. Okay.
And my name is Mannings, man.
Your name is Omar Stennett.
And we also have Mr. Speed here with us today for the JPL preview and review show.
Who that?
Mr. Beckford, Mr. Rudolph Speed.
Oh, Rude. Okay.
Yeah. All right. So, I mean, what is, wanted you to talk to us about what is happening in Senton in terms of your team for the tier 2, and then also what happens to the rest of team in your parish. After after one goes up to the tier 2, what happens to the other
Oh, okay.
22 teams in Senton?
As it stands now, we're preparing the registration for our tier 2 entrant, which is Lima, because again Lima had qualified for the last Premier League player, so automatically they are one of the 5 teams who had qualified for that to be in the tier 2, subject to any registration problems or whatever. So I think that is going along. So soon finish with Lima. Then now we had a discussion with our sponsor, our main sponsor, which is Chemtech. So all being well, we're going to have a sponsorship again for our major league. So the planning is when the tier 2 starts and its way with Lima, then we get our major league teams then to a level if we can play a major league, subject to the time when it. So we're looking about maybe June, July for our major league. So that is where we're at right now in our parish. We did planning at the football.
Okay, so one team for the tier 2, and then you have a major league.
Yes.
All right. So what is the how, say I win the major league? What would be the next step for me?
All right. Hopefully tomorrow I think we have a board of directors, so we may ask some questions and even going forward, because a lot of times planning changes from the TFF level. But as it stands now, hopefully, because what you're saying now, the tier 2 would be a feeder to the Premier League, to to qualify for the Premier League. So I don't think there would be any relegation in the tier 2. So hopefully there might be a player for the major league teams again from the other parishes to try put 2 more into the tier 2. That is the understanding that I got so far.
Okay, let me see. Mr. Speed, do you have any clarity on that? Are you
No,
not?
no, it's correct. The tier 2 is the second tier competition. All the parish league would be the third tier. So then you would have the playoffs between the parishes, and the top 2 would go up to the tier 2 competition. So Jamaica is still in the status where there's promotion and relegation, because we have to ensure that there is, what's the word, Danny? There's a word, Danny. What's the word? We have to ensure that there is sporting merit.
You heard Mr. Beckford?
Yeah, man.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sporting merit. Right. That's what Mr. Okay. So let me ask the other question though, Mr. Beckford and Mr. Speed. Maybe you can help me this. This is similar but different from what we used to call the A League. And one of the outcries during the time of the A League was the cost of transportation from parish to parish. And so, they had gone back to the idea of keeping it confed based to eliminate the cost of transportation. How will this now be dealt with in terms of the tier 2, when a team would have to traverse throughout the parishes to play the competition? What's the plan from your side, Mr. Beckford, for your team in St. Ann?
Oh no, it wouldn't be from our side. It would be from the and I would think from the GFF level, you would still go to the regions where you don't call confed and start to put it.
No, man, I'm talking for the tier 2 team for Limon.
That may I say. So if the tier 2 and Mr. Speed may put some clarity on this, if we go to the region, the confed type region thing where those in the region would play and then go to a next level.
How does the tier 2 structure work, Mr. Speed?
I wouldn't think that a team from St. Thomas would travel go Westmoreland.
How does it work? You know how it has it been worked with Mr. Speed? I don't know.
Well, the competition department has the final say, so I don't know how we want to say. But the tier 2 is supposed to mirror the Premier League. If it doesn't mirror it this first year, that's where it's gonna end up. That it mirror the Premier League, because that is the whole idea about it. And the difference between the tier 2 and the former A League, the former A League was just sporting merit, which we're still saying is sporting merit, but there's an added caveat to the teams that are allowed to play in the tier 2. They must have a club license. They must have a structure. They must be able. So that is the difference. Unlike, you could just have a community team that plays in the A League because they won the major league. In this case, you could still win the major league and not play in our tier 2 if you don't have a proper structure in place. The structure in place is what enable these teams to compete at this level in a similar manner as the Premier League clubs. Not the same, but a similar. And the whole idea behind it is, when you come to the Premier League, it wouldn't be a glorified major league team coming to the Premier League. It would have been an established semi-pro team that understands the ramification of earning money, traveling, etc., to play in the Premier League. Because we want the quality of the Premier League to stay high. So based on that, we have to ensure that the teams that are coming up already have quality before they come.
Okay, so the understanding then, Mr. Beckford, from what Mr. Speed just said, is that a team could win major league and still not qualify based on the structure of how the league ought to be operated in terms of the teams. They could win it and still not be able to ply their trade in the tier 2 because they don't meet certain.
Yeah, and that was one of the preliminary discussion that we had. So that's it. Our parish, what we know about is that our major league winner went on to qualify for the Premier League player.
Yeah.
So sporting merit here is there, and then, as I said, we're working feverishly now to get them to a level to qualify for the point system, where you call it the club license point system. So I think we're on track with that. That's all.
Okay, and is there any negative repercussion you believe for clubs in communities with this system, or you think this is a good way of keeping all the clubs in the, still playing football at some level, or this could cause,
Well,
clubs.
the onus would be, and that is where we're working on, is that the teams that first of all qualify on sporting merit, then we work with them to get them to the level where they can qualify for the club license thing. So I'm not sure, and I wouldn't speak for any other parish, I'd speak for mine. So we would try put there. So, sporting merit plus the licensing thing, and you'll be good to go. I know there will be, even if it happened in my parish, there would be some underlying repercussions where the team that won and not qualified for the club license, there would be some repercussions, because normally over the years you deal with sporting merit first and then everything else after. But as I said, as Mr. Speid would say, there's a change in the whole aspect of trying to get the clubs to a level, not just go out and play and your talent carrier too, but to ensure that things in place where you would be very well going forward year after year in, year out, you are qualified on the level of being a licensed club.
Okay. All right. My final question on this, both of you, is when, Mr. Speid, maybe you can answer the Premier League one. When will relegation start in the Premier League so that teams can be promoted, and when will relegation begin in the Tier 2 league? Or is there any plans for relegation and promotion, or you just want to get it to a number and that's kind of the number you work with for stability to the clubs? Or there will always be relegation and promotion from Tier 2 and from the Premier League, and when will that begin?
So what the board had approved was 16 teams for Tier 1 and 18 teams for Tier 2. Remember, in establishing the Tier 2, what we also was ensuring that instead of teams spending money in the first or second year trying to not get relegated, they use it for development, because remember, that's what we're all about, development. So there will be no relegation of the Tier 1 or Tier 2 teams until the Tier 2 have 18 clubs in that league, then relegation will start. So it depends on how fast the space are filled up. There's 12 clubs that now say they want to play. Kasafa hasn't sent up a club, St. Mary hasn't sent one. So if those two send one each, then you'll have 14. So then you'll have 3 years before there is relegation.
Of any of those 14 clubs will be in Tier 2 for the next 3 years.
Yeah, because 2 will keep on coming up every year until we have 18. That's the plan.
Oh, okay. So the next, I would say then, so the next season 2 would come up to make it 16, and then the following season 2 would come up make it 18.
After that, now everything chip in, relegation and there's always promotion, but relegation will chip in.
All right, but how? So all right. So if you're going to take, so wouldn't
Mr. Management, just have breaking news here that Kambunji won the 60 meters for women at World Indoors, and Sherika Jackson came fourth.
Thank you, Mr. Breaking News. All right. So, in the Premier League, though, because will more teams be promoted from the Tier 2 to the Premier League? Because you presently have 12, right? So if 2 go up from the Tier 2 now to the Premier League, that would make it what? 14 teams in the Premier League, right?
If what?
So when the Tier 2 starts, the top 2 get promoted to the Premier League.
Yes.
To make it 14. So that means you need to add not 2 teams, but 4 teams.
So 2 after the first promotion.
There's only 2 each month, 2 each year.
No, man. Why? What I'm saying is, you understand what I'm saying, Mr. Beckford? You're going to lose 2.
Yeah, man. There's 2 years you're going to have to get the 4 plus to 16.
Right. So the first year you will have to add. You have to add 4. You can't add 2 because you're losing 2. Remember, you start out with 14. But at the end of the season,
the tier 2.
Tier
Okay.
2. You start out with 14. At the end of the season, you're going to lose 2 out of the 14 to the Premier League.
Right.
So now if you add 2, you would go back to the same 14.
The same 14, yes.
So you'd have to add 4 teams to make it up to 16, because the following year you're going to lose 2 more again. And you add the next 4, which would make it to 18.
Very good point.
Right, Mr. Speid, you heard that?
What? We're not going to add 4 no year. It always is 2.
Yeah, all right. So follow me, Mr. Speid. So presently, right, the Premier League have 12 teams. Just work with me, right? The tier 2 is supposed to have 14 if St. Mary and Kasafa comes in. 14. You said that you want to add 2 teams per year to bring it to 18.
Correct.
But when the first tier 2 finish, 2 out of those 14 teams will move into the Premier League.
Right.
Which will leave only 12 teams in your tier 2. So if you only add 2, you go back to the same 14.
14.
Yeah.
Very good point.
Right.
Yeah.
So but you're trying to get to 18.
Well, we'll get there.
How? If you keep losing 2 every year.
No, the 2 going to stop after they go 16.
All right. So that means so what is happening now is that until you got 2 years in the Premier League, you're going to have a problem, You know what the problem is?
Problem.
Yes, Mr. Speid.
No. We'll play with 12 till it max out.
but the just
so what will be the point? Go ahead,
Mr. Management. What you just say, you're moving to get to 18. So every year you don't add 2. But the good gentleman was point out now that they're going to lose 2. So when you add 2, you're going to remain at 14. So what you're saying, if after we stop at 16 for the Premier League, then the real thing would start then where you add 2 till you reach 18.
Right. So a team will have to know, a Major League team will have to wait 2 full years of Major League before they have any ambition of getting promoted.
No. Because once they play the first Major League, 2 teams have come up to tier 2.
All right. So you're going to take longer to get to it. All right. So Mr. Speid, I don't think you get the numbers, You see, after you get the 16 of the Premier League, that is when you start adding to your tier 2,
Yes, but all right. So your point is a team is very good in Major League. Win, come up to tier 2. And if them finish night top 2 at tier 2, then go straight to Premier League.
Yeah, man. All right.
So
Mr. Beckford, my point makes sense.
Yeah, man. I get what you're saying. What Mr. Speid is really well for my in that it's just a waiting game. So finalize the 16 in the Premier League, then the whole thing of what is being portrayed will happen.
I think
but in the meantime,
Mr. Speid, go ahead, Mr. Beckford.
Before you get to the 16, there will be a waiting game. But as Mr. Speed said, a team that is very good from the Major League come up and can go. So there are some teams that is not very good but good. So they not qualify for the top 2 in the first year. They qualify for the top 2 in the second year. So they're going to have to wait until the slot in Premier League is filled. Before now, they can have a better chance to go to the tier 2 and then to the Premier League.
Okay, I understand it, but all right, fine, I understand that now. I understand that. So Premier League have 12 teams. So we're going to have we are in the 22 to 2023 edition of the tier 2 will send 2 out of its 14 teams to the Premier League to make the Premier League next edition 14. But your tier 2 only have 12 teams now. So you're going to get 2 from the major leagues, however the playoff work, and it comes back up to 14. So now you have 14 in tier 2, 14 in the Premier League. All right, the following season, 2 of your tier 2 team goes up to the Premier League to make it 16. So you add 2 more from your major league and you still have 14. All right? Now watch this now. So that's 14, So what's the problem you're going to have? Now you're going to start relegation in your Premier League. So if but you're trying to get your tier 2 to 18. When you relegate the 2 teams from the Premier League, where do they go?
Tier 2.
Tier 2.
So if they go to tier 2, where are you going to add the other 2 teams now? That come up?
Yeah, you got 2 others that come up. Every year 2 come up.
No, but Manning's man, I guess the 4 come in now. 2 from the Premier League come down, and 2 from the Major League go up. So the 4 come in.
So right there now, Mr. Speid, after the Premier League of 16, the first go, 4 new teams will be in your tier 2, which now would make it 18 in it and 16 in your Premier League. All right? You understand that now? So now your following season, when 2 teams again get relegated, do you still promote 2 teams from tier 2?
Yes. 2 come out of Premier League, 2 from tier 1 come down, 2 from tier 2 go up, 2 from tier 2 now get relegated back to the parish, and 2 from the parish come up.
Okay. So you're going to be relegating tier 2 teams?
Yes.
Okay.
At some point in time that will happen, yes.
All right. Let's see it work out. Sound like somebody gonna have a long week before.
No, but what happened
It's not good enough. It's not good enough.
No, but what happened at tier 2? Sorry.
Mr. Mannings, man, the biggest concern from our standpoint, well, our parish standpoint, is this: the resources to make the tier 2 startup and continuation a reality. That is our biggest concern.
Yeah. What say you, Mr. Speid?
It's a different ball game from what happened in A League. I mean, a lot of the A League teams, were just
you see the structure. The problem was the structure wasn't right.
And equipped to do what they were trying to do now. The good thing with this one is that we have been at this for like nearly 2 years, telling people what is going to happen, telling them, say, yeah, you have to make investment in it. JFF agreed to put some money towards it. And people know that it's an investment. It's a similar thing. If you want to come to the Premier League, you have to invest in your club and try to operate like a proper business. So, there's no difference here, except that there was a structured way of going about in training the people. We had seminars to train people about how to run a club. We tell you that you have to have club license, and so you have to invest money. So we are from a different structure now than what happened in the A League, and I think it's a ripe time for this for it to survive.
Okay. Well, Mr. Beckford, if Limal doesn't go to the Premier League, they have 3 opportunities. 3 years
and
without.
Yeah. And then you have a in the meantime you have a Priory United or a Brownstone or wherever we can win the major league and try.
Priory Soccer Academy coming at this now. We
no, might can win the major league and have a football in the first tier 2, second tier 2,
Right.
Yeah, right. Yeah. All right, Mr. Beckford. But just to let you know that they said Sherika Jackson finished 5th, not 4th. So they were just
well, the result that they gave me is that Brianna Williams finished 5th.
Okay, they said Brianna Williams was 6th, but we don't know. But any other questions you have before you run, Mr. Beckford? Because we know you're a busy man and you're trying to get your Limal team. Yeah, no
more questions.
So is it FA, the Centre FA, going to give like Limal a $1 million grant to run their program and get ready for June 6th?
No, you talk like it's a joke thing, man. We're actively working on resources to fund the club that can compete.
Okay. So you have money there. Okay, that's very good, because I think having not playing any football for a while, they may need some, financial assistance there. And
yeah, man, that is good. Startups.
Okay. So Limal, you can look for a grant from the Centre Football Association.
Not necessarily $1 million, but All right. Thank you, Mr. Speid. Good day.
Yeah, man. All right, Mr. Speid. So we kind of get some clarity on the tier 2 stuff right now. I know that Mr. Christie say he wants to come on because he's not happy and he want to state his displeasure. So I don't know if you want us to take that now or you want to continue what you were saying earlier, because you're making a point earlier before Mr. Beck.
Christie not happy about what? He's second in the Premier League,
No. He's not happy about Demario Phillips, and he's second in the Premier League, and he's not happy about
to Demario Phillips?
That he's 22 years old and was not called up, and he has been one of the best players in his position in the league. Why? And his team is in second place, and he's 22 years old. Why wasn't Rashawn Taylor his right back who has started. He has played the most minutes. I need Mr. Christie to come and tell us. He says, Russian Taylor, the right back.
As long as I know me, my ask, because I'm a pick player.
Oh, so, no, just I'll tell you why I'm gross before.
But I can't me, my ask, because I'm not going to answer him. I'm talk to him all yesterday, and me and him not no conversation about it.
And why Atafari by grave was that called up. But, yeah, you have a big game this weekend, though, Mr. Speedman.
Yeah, we have Mount Pleasant. It should be a nice game. Yeah.
Yeah, tell us about the plans this week. Back at Sabina Park, you can share that with the fans. What the cost for the tickets will be, what they can expect over the weekend.
Yes, so Sabina Park. Yeah, we're back at Sabina Park. And the Prime Minister fly the gate. So we're going to be opening up a big stand this weekend at Sabina Park. So all the fans, don't worry yourself, just come. Life almost back to normal. Still take precaution though. I mean, wear your mask still because there's this public place. Wash your hands. Still take precaution. But it's you can come and sit beside your loved ones and enjoy the game like pre-COVID era. The government has you know, rolled back all those regulations, so you're not going to be doing anything illegal. But fans, you still need to take care of yourself and make sure you do the right thing. So this week at Sabina, there are some good games up and running, and people, you really need to come and look, and see what is happening this weekend, and we can go into the games individually.
Yeah, let's go through that, and then I will take some of the questions that I see Kawami have some questions, and I have some questions too. So let's go through the weekend fixtures. Yeah, so let's start off with the Saturday games. All right, let me just bring this up right now.
And the Saturday game is Veer versus Waterhouse. They will kick it off. Arnett Gardner versus Tivoli.
Yeah, which is a big match right there, because
Yes.
Arnett Gardner has not lost. They have 4 wins and a draw in their last 5 games.
No, Arnett Gardner has only lost 1 game to the champions, the first match of the season. They have not lost
since that time. Playing some good football. Well, let's talk about the Waterhouse versus Veer game, because I don't know. Veer seem to have lost some players. At least I don't see the goalkeeper. Kadima Davis there.
Davis was in the goal the last game. I'm sure he was. Unless I'm sick. Sorry. I might have been.
It was a young guy on the ball hit.
No, sorry. I was probably looking at the wrong game. I'm sorry.
Yeah, Kadima Davis, I think he has not kept for a while. I know they had a little, seemed like a high school player, and the ball hit on the post and hit him in his back and scored from the near post. I think that's how Harborview scored on them, because they played against Harborview. It wasn't Kadima who was in the goal, But they seem to be going through a very rough time. They're trying to integrate. I know the Harrison twin is there. Michael Panton, a 19-year-old.
Yes.
He was in the goal.
Right.
Yeah.
And their life just got harder for them because they lost the points that they didn't play the match against Tivoli. So
they lost those points?
Yeah, so life has just gotten even harder for them this week.
Oh, okay. So that means Tivoli. Okay, so Tivoli has also been awarded 3 points.
And 3 goals. So you're
talking 3 goals. Whoa. Okay, so Tivoli is ahead of Harborview. Tivoli is on 12 points.
Correct, with a nice goal difference. So Tivoli would probably jump up to 6th place.
6th place. Yeah, they are 6th place ahead of Harborview.
Yeah.
Okay. Whoa. Okay. Whoa, that's interesting. So there you go, people. Breaking news.
Yes.
Veer lost 3 points to Tivoli for that game that wasn't played. Which puts Tivoli on 12 points going into their match against Arnett Gardens, who are 4th on the table. They are tied on points with Mount Pleasant, but separated by a goal difference. Playing some good football. That should be a good game. I'm picking Waterhouse. Waterhouse has also been playing good football as well. I know they have lost at least 1 player in the window. Chevron Stewart. Looks like he's no longer in the ranks of Waterhouse. Look like he has made a move down north. And thing from what the birds have been saying to me, don't know. So, but he wasn't a regular starter though, so I don't know if that changes anything in terms of the Waterhouse team.
Well,
So
if you look at a Waterhouse team who is number one in the standing against a Veer team who is 10, I know I said that already on a program about Mullines, and Mullines win, but I was able to beat Waterhouse. But Mullines Waterhouse is a derby. Almost anything can happen in a game like that. If you notice, Waterhouse went into a bad patch, losing to Mullines. Mullines got 2 draws, but they're back to winning ways. They have won the last 2 games. If you look on the trajectory of Veer, I mean, they beat Cavalier in a game that Cavalier had 65% of the possession. Then after that, there has just been loss, draw, loss, and now they have another loss added to their name. They are in 10th position. They have only been able to score 5 goals since the season start, and will now have 11 goals accredited against their name. So it's very difficult for you to think of anything else going to happen than Waterhouse keep rolling on. Sometimes when teams lose people, you don't understand that other players now step in the breach and say you no longer want to play, and there could be a bounce. So I wouldn't put anything to that loss of that particular player to Mount Pleasant. I would say that Waterhouse seems to be getting back into stride. They have quality players like Campbell, that left back who wasn't playing. I'm sure it's time for you to see him now in action. He's fresh. I'm sure the other player who was playing left back would be probably a little bit tired.
Ricardo
Waterhouse,
Thomas.
yeah, Waterhouse have abundance of talent they can draw on. Chevron, I don't think it's a big miss, and I just believe that, you know,
One of the main talisman, Cardell Benbow. I was a little bit surprised because he's 26 years old, and he wasn't called up to this training camp. Though he has
so
more goals than.
we stick to the Premier League and we'll come back to those later on.
Okay. But
So
yeah,
Veer would have
yeah,
lost their fifth match, and
yeah,
they would have lost 6 out of 9, and I just expect them to get another loss again.
yeah. So you're picking Waterhouse. I'm picking Waterhouse
Definitely.
over here by 2 goals to 0.
Yes.
Um, and then the next game is the Tivoli Arnett Gardens game. This is a hard one to call because it's a derby game.
Yes.
I could see this one just one thing. Arnett Garden going to concede,
I'm glad you said that.
and
They don't know.
Arnett
They
Garden going to
don't know
score,
how not to concede.
and Arnett Garden
Um,
will score. So
Arnett Garden going, but this is Arnett Garden DNA from long time. They're always
yeah,
a team that outscored from the Jerome Waite glory days. They were always a team that outscored it. They are gonna score because they play in a like a bully fashion. Run at you, run at you, run at you, keep coming, keep coming, keep coming. They eventually wear down teams and score. But because of their style of play, they always leave themselves a little bit vulnerable at the back for a team who can play in possession, play in transition quickly. And yes, so if Tivoli can score 2 goals, they have a chance to win because they'll definitely score one. And it definitely going to score on Tivoli based on how they have been playing. So it's gonna be a cracker, I think.
yeah, yeah.
And I'm
All right,
going to
people.
sit on the fence for this one.
I think it's going to be a drawn game, though. I think it's
Yeah,
a 1-1 game, in my opinion.
yeah.
All right. So people, don't worry. Listen. All right. Just keep the question because we're going to get back to some of the questions, right? We want to cover the JPL and then we get back to some of the other questions that are out of it. But this one is directly related to the JPL first, Mr. Speid. And will the play is all players still have to be vaccinated to play, or because the fans are not? Has there been some? Are that rule is still in place, or it's no longer
No,
in
but the
effect?
players, look here.
Are they already vaccinated? So
The rule, they are already vaccinated, but the rule can't be in place if the government say no. Sorry, no, we can still make up our own rules, even if the government decide that they are going in a particular direction. But really, remember, you have to protect you have to try to protect your members as much as possible because if a team play without vaccinated players and the players in the camp go down, then who will they lose? And the team, it's a different thing when a spectator go down because them catch a virus by mingling or go out. But when the team players go down sick with COVID, then the team will lose. So I mean, most teams will still try to protect their players. So, but if it's not a rule, that don't mean we won't do it. I'm just saying it like that.
Okay. All right. So that one has been answered. All right. So that on Sunday, the big game, 3 o'clock Jamaica time. You don't want to miss this one. It is Wally versus Speid. Oh. I'm telling you, Mount Pleasant versus Cavaliers, or is it Cavaliers versus Mount Pleasant at Sabina Park? You don't want to miss this one.
So we have met 8 times, both teams. Mount Pleasant have won once, Cavalier 4, and 3 have been drawn. So that's the story of the battle between Mount Pleasant and Cavalier over the.
So there, basically, are you suggesting that they're your beating stick?
No, I'm just saying that the longer you take, the longer it takes for you to beat a team, is the nearer the team takes to to beat you. But we have had some epic battles over there. There have always been close games, 2-2, 1-0, a lot of 1-0. Even when they defeated it was 3-2. So it has always been close between us and Mount Pleasant. I always, so Wally Downs has one upon me from last year. And of course, I don't forget, me have a long memory. So we're coming back at Mount Pleasant. Of course, he's a good coach and his team is playing very good football. But we notice he has been struggling a little. In the last, remember he was leading the league by far. But
Yes,
in
they
the
have had
last
a couple
5
of drawn
games,
results.
he has only won once in the last 5 games. He has drawn 3 and lost 1. We have won 3 and lost 2. So you could say, based on the points, we are on a little bit better trajectory than Mount Pleasant, and this is an opportunity for us to get to 18 points just like them. So we have all to play for, and of course, I will never pick Mount Pleasant to win. So you know what is my pick.
All right, people, you know my pick. I'm going with Mount Pleasant. Both of us can pick up. I'm going with Mount Pleasant. I think Chevron Stewart has give them a next dimension, and I see they have. I don't know if he'll be ready, but I see a right back who I think he was a former JC player, who was at UE, and he has looked good in training. So don't know if he'll be ready, but I saw him and he looks well. Don't know if he's even there because sometimes the players are training to get into the team. You don't know if they are in the team as well. So can we expect Mr. Topi to be turning out for Cavalier, returning to the Cavaliers starting 11? Or will he be turning up somewhere else this season?
Well, definitely he's not playing this weekend. That's definite. I mean,
okay.
But we'll see what happens in the future. I mean, I know there's some rumor going around. Some of it is not rumor, but nothing has been agreed on. But definitely he'll not be playing for Cavalier this week.
Okay. So he'll not be playing for Cavaliers, but he could play for somebody else. We don't
this
know.
weekend. No, he couldn't play for anybody else this weekend because no business has transpired between Cavalier and anybody this week.
And any other people. All right, not a problem. All right, so I'm giving Mount Pleasant this one. I know you're giving your team you're giving your team 2-1. I'm going 2-1 Mount Pleasant. You understand me?
I didn't say Mount Pleasant was going to score.
So what is your score prediction?
No, I don't know what it's gonna be, but remember we have the second best
defensive record
in the league, so we can defend. And we know Mount Pleasant have the best attack in the league. Well, the giant best attack in the league, so we know that they can attack. But the old saying is attack win matches, but defense win championship.
Well, this is not championship, This is a match. This is different.
I know.
Yeah. But somebody, King Tyrese, asking if we can expect Henry to make his debut in this game.
Which Henry? Omar Henry?
Oh, you have Omar Henry? I thought we were talking Richard Henry. I didn't know
Richard Henry. Well, Richard Henry is fully transferred. I think he's ready to play. I think we need to pick up his ID, but he's fully transferred and let's see.
Okay. And then Mr. Pearson looked very well on debut for Cavaliers as well. Look very good. Somebody just said it. Look very good. Really scored a penanka. First goal in the Premier League. Brave man to try that. I mean, some good goals were scored this weekend. And Cavaliers, I think, scored two of them. One was scored by that beautiful header by Ming. I think his header and Antafari Bygrave header are two of the better headers I've seen this season. Maybe Staple from Harborview scored a good header as well. But good header by Ming. Brilliant free kick as well. So that's good. That's good. I know that Mount Pleasant, Gary Mills is also back at Mount Pleasant. He was at Dintil, he's back there now. So they seem to be fortifying their offensive line. So, but Pearson did look good. On
Right. I
debut.
remember I told on this program that we're going to have the best schoolboy had to offer. So we're slowly bringing them in. Henry Pearson, there's Cleo Clark, who was probably the star of the Costa Cup. He's in our lineup.
Yeah.
And of course, we have Rochester, who is
And
really.
somebody's asking about this player, Mr. Speid. And he's a player that I have a lot of time for, not because of any connection with Calabar, but Christopher Ainsworth.
Well,
I
he's
haven't
back in
seen.
training now. So you soon will seeing us unleash him too. He's back in training now. So that player.
Okay, so he's still at Cavaliers.
Yes.
Okay, all right. There you go, Brendan. So he's still at Cavaliers, right? So let's see. Mr. Speid not letting anything out. We don't know if Henry will be there. He said he's registered, so we don't know. So let's see if he will spring up somewhere. He's not letting all his cards out.
No, he has been registered. He has assigned. He has been assigned his number. He has a number, so he's ready to go. But let's see if he plays this weekend. We're not sure.
Yeah. And then did you know that Richard Henry was in Mount Pleasant Academy, Mr. Speid?
I did not know, but it's somebody that we have been tracking for a couple of years. And
You're getting a Mount Pleasant baller.
I think we're getting him from.
I know. But you always say that though when you see a player, yeah man, that man used to be at Cavaliers. So I'm just saying that the man used to be at Mount Pleasant.
That's fine. Him see the light and come over to Cavalier.
All right, boss. All right, and so those are the games. The second game will be Mobile United. We call this the battle of the cellar dwellers. Mobile United versus Moulins.
No, it's Mobile United versus Harborview.
Oh, yeah, right. A couple of things I'll say with Mobile United. I think Lee Craft Letman, their new coach, is one of those good young coaches. So he's a new coach down there.
He's a CONCACAF B license coach.
Yeah.
Right? So he knows some stuff.
Yeah, but I don't think he has the players though. That is the problem. And I don't hear of any incomings at Mobile United. Harborview get back at Johnny Talbot. Colorado Murray scoring. I just think Harborview, I think O'Shane Staple probably going to be on a high after being called up to the national team. You know what I mean? So Zimenez was there in training, so I'm going to give Harborview the edge in this one over Mobile United.
It would be a brave man who wouldn't do the same as what you did. And I'm not so brave, but Mobile United, traveling to Kingston week in, week out, eventually it's gonna take its toll on you. You might not notice initially, but it will take its toll on you. All that traveling, all that anxiety. And then if you don't, but if you had quality, battle hard players who were playing in the league before, it could be minimized. But with or if management decide to do other things like bringing the team into Kingston before or bringing them nearer, so the travel is nearer, we could get some advantages. But I think a lot of time they look, so leg weary near the end of the games. It's not funny. They'll put up a good fight for the first half, first 60 minutes, first 70 minutes, and then they just got the pieces afterwards. So you're correct. Harborview is being conditioned by Ludlow Bernard, one of the better astute coaches in the country. and with him getting back some pieces, I can see him strengthening his team. He has a quality attack in Nicholas Hamilton, although he's a little bit overweight, but he
Yeah,
has
and Colorado Murray,
Colorado Murray, and the one that they got,
Travon Reed,
that's probably as good as attack as anybody in the league. So I expect
Trayvon. Yeah.
him to do well. Yeah.
And I think Johnny Talbot, if he's able to play, was that staple in their defense last season before he left. And when he left, along with Lovell Palmer, their team form kind of declined. So I can see where he has come back from his 3-month loan in Portugal. So that probably will help to, like I said, stabilize that center-back position. Because Dyer, I think, is one of the players out there has been playing well. A player that they brought in that I haven't, he came from Portmore. He was at Tivoli at one point, Breckenridge. I don't know. He seemed to be a little rash, and so they don't take a lot of chances playing him. Always seemed to be a walking red card. But I like,
He's not that bad. He doesn't have that much red cards, but there must be other reasons why they don't want to play him. But I mean, they have a good centre half in Dyer, so Talbot and Dyer, I think, would make up a very good partnership.
Yeah. Yes, and Leon Price is Fitzroy Reed is, I think he's telling that they can go to Trelawney. There are some good young players down there. He's scouting. He's not going to get them now because the Marlies are going to capture all the Trelawney talent because the Marlies in the tier 2 with their Falmouth United team. So any talent.
I still have the other best player that they have down in Trelawney. He's transferred him in, and he's gonna be
from Trelawney. Yeah. Which player?
I didn't give you a name, so don't bother try. I didn't give you a name.
I didn't see the Antiguan. For
Cavaliers. He came on.
He came on.
Yeah, he came on.
The Antiguan Jamaican. Okay. And yes, Leon Price, unvaccinated fans can attend the venue. All right.
So he's asking.
Yes, I'm telling him, yeah, they can. Yeah. Yes, they can. All right. So that's Mobile versus Harborview. Then we have the high flying Dumbeholden versus the ever rising Lions. I tell you guys, that this long season gonna work in Humble Lion favor, because you see seniority and experience is a big thing, You understand me?
So here the trick about Humble Lion now. Humble Lion has 9 points, right? Which puts them in 9th position. But they have only, as bad as you think they were playing, they have only lost twice. They have actually drawn 6 games and won 1 and have 9 points. They are, with their 9 points, they are just 3 points below the last playoff spots, which will be held by Tivoli Garden. So if the Lions just roar 2 times, they could be in a playoff position. I mean, that's a good thing. So yes, the Lion having a matchup here against.
I think this is gonna be a good game,
Dunbeholden.
Yeah.
And also slowly start to put together a team with
a
lot of names, and they have always been a pesky bunch. I mean, that's how the Enterprise team played. They believe in players who fight to the end. All of his teams. So and Dunbeholden also is another team that you will score on. It's not hard to score on Dunbeholden. Even if they give you 3-1, it's not hard, or 4-1, it's not hard to score on Dunbeholden. So there will be another team that Humble Lion will score. The thing about Humble Lion is that they are difficult to break down.
Yes.
So if you look at their record, they would have conceded 12 goals because they got a few big beatings. But basically, they are able to draw their games because they keep the scoring down. So if Humble Lion goes on the board first, Dunbeholden will have their work cut out. And this one, I'm going to sit on the fence. And Paddy can call and ball.
All right, I am going to call. Listen, but what I'll tell you is that Humble Lion know how to waste time. They have mastered the art of at least when Humble Lion play, at least 25 minutes of that game, no football. That's just
That's just
um
average though. That's
what
average though.
what is the goalkeeper name? Taylor, Dennis
Yeah.
Taylor. Find every reason. Man,
Because
every take long to kick out the back kick, to spot the ball, to give. Listen, they take long to do everything. You understand me? So that seems to work for them. Let me just get some of these comments because Duckland saying that don't be holding will brush aside the lion. Fresh God said the lion will roar again. Yeah.
well, the truth is, I sitting on the fence here for this one. It could go any way. I think. I just think.
Yeah. I will respond to you, Leon Price. All right. Mr. Speed, any update on the help you said you were going to get for your players with regards for their communication skills?
No. I wasn't able to do anything on that, but we're going to be working on it. Because what happened this week was one of those weeks where a lot of players, a lot of our players, some was in the senior team, some was in the under 20. So we had a small little squad.
Yeah, but one of the things you have to do, though, Mr. Speed, is say to them, listen, for now, don't do any interviews.
We can't. We have to send up somebody each week to do interviews. So
okay, I see
we
what you
just
mean.
try and get the most articulate one, to go up. But then management promised to come and teach him, so he's in my wait on.
All right, I'm going to do it. Don't worry yourself. We're going to do it. I'm supposed to be in Kingston this week on Tuesday. So let's see if we can arrange something. One time Humble Lion get 5-1 is the biggest loss of the season. So that's why they concede so many goals.
Yeah. But after that, they have, that they have conceded like 7 goals after that in 8 matches. So they
Bridget, but let me say this: Nicar Christian playing well, Demario Phillips playing well, Atafari Bygrave playing well, Peter McGregor scored 2 good goals on debut, Fabian McCarthy playing well. Hey, this game a 2-2.
So you're on the fence just like Mr. Right.
I'm going to go 2-2 with this game because I don't know them. The center double hole and defense is what I'm concerned about. I think they have good defense on the right and on the left back, but the center of their defense to me is vulnerable. And my friend Hyatt, you know me, I'm gonna beat you hard. I think sometimes you make too much. You make some bad decisions in goalkeeping that cost your team sometimes, and you didn't do one last week. It's almost like I expect one this week.
Well, as I said before, if you look at the standings and look at what they have been able to score a lot of goals because Bygrave is proving to be one of the best strikers in the league. But they have also conceded 11 goals. So, for when you start to concede more goals than the game that you play, is cause for concern. And that's what has been happening to Don Bowling. They are on it. Both Arnett Garden and himself is 2 teams in the top. The only 2 teams in the top 6 that has conceded more goals than the amount of matches that they have played, and is a concern.
Yeah. All right. The final game of the round will be Portmore versus Moulins. And people, hey, Mr. Speed, I have no crystal ball and them things, but watch me. You know that I kind of look here, I think like something. So there's a team called Chapelton. They call it Chapelton Marooners, right? Or Chapelton Youth, right?
Chapelton
Maroons. They are going to be in preparation, right? For the Tier 2.
Correct.
Watch this. That team is Clarendon College players straight. All right? I can't see a Clarendon College team and the Clarendon College coach is not there. So I think Portmore is due a coaching change. Listen, I can't see any team associated to Clarendon College and Lenny Hyde not being there. That's my thing.
All I can say, Lenny Hyde is gonna be in demand. He was at Falmouth. Falmouth is in Tier 2, Chapelton Maroons, and now he's at Portmore United. So he's who have a bigger purse.
Well,
Lenny
all I'm saying is that
Lenny, buy me a drink when you see me. I
all
must
I
have
am
see you
saying
when
is
I'm
that
nearly up. So
listen, any coach that love a school so much and love a place so much, because your team in the Premier League not doing well, and I notice that there's not a lot of Clarendon College players breaking through into the Portmore team, I think something is on the horizon. I could be wrong, you know.
yeah, man, most likely you're wrong.
Yeah. So, but that is what I see. But Mullines is a different team. People, Mullines get a new manager. You see, this new manager is one of the young managers in the league. Big him up. You understand me?
The
The youngest manager in the league. And he has been
Well,
making some moves. You understand me?
youngest male manager. I don't know if he's the youngest.
Youngest male manager, but he may not be the youngest. So I don't think Portmore is going to beat Mullines tomorrow. Sorry, on Monday. So really, you would say Portmore 3, Mullines 1. I don't see that happening. Nicholas Nelson, Makwan Aldridge, Stewart that they got from Harborview, Jaheim Harris. I hear through the grapevine that there may be people from other nationalities, you know. You know, I don't know if they'll be available, but seeking to come into the Mullines team. They have a good centre forward in Trevante Stewart as well.
Well,
Like
I go and make a prediction. Stuart will not be playing on Saturday. From Monday.
Trevante Stewart?
Yeah, will not be playing.
All right.
I don't know if it's because he was chasing out so much Cavalier defenders in the last game. That's all he was doing. They kept him making him chase the whole time. I don't know if that's the reason why I'm not playing, but I'm sure he's not playing.
Okay, some Fresh God is saying that it could be Tafari Burton and not Lenny head coach in the team because Edwin Allen players will be there. All right, boss. And yeah. Okay, all right. So that's a baby. Okay, so you're saying that he may not be playing this week?
No, he will not. Not me.
Yeah. Oh, he will not.
I think I'm still tired from chasing and fouling the Cavalier player from last week, so he'll not be there.
Yeah, man, a lot of fouls. Hey, the man like he's a bully. I can't believe man is what 22 years old, you know.
Yeah.
I mean, they have two good
So
young players.
what happened, and you're so correct, Mullines has a lot of quality young players that just come into the team. But it takes time to gel. Teams don't operate like that. When you have so much players and you're making so much changes, it takes a lot of time. You know, if people be in fear, unless it's a team with a lot of top professional players, it take you in 3 months, 6 months before you start to gel the team properly. So everybody know what to do in all the moments. So I think that is what is going to go against Mullines. Portmore has been chopping and changing also. They have, players come back like Sigel Knight. I'm sure I saw Sigel Knight on the bench the last time.
Yeah, for Portmore, yeah. He came on in the game before.
Right, so he's a quality player if they get him back in that midfield. But gone is Basco. I think here is at Humberland. There's a lot of players who have left. So again, Portmore is not stable either. They have done a lot of changes since the start of the season. One of the things with Mullines, though, that they are unpredictable. You don't know what they're going to do next, just like how they were unpredictable against Waterhouse.
Yeah.
So they could still notch a victory. But again, Portmore Lenny is a second coach. He has a style of play. Whosoever come to him, he tries to let them play the same. He's a tiki-taka boss. And once you come to Lenny, you're going to know that that's the style you're going to play. He's going to teach you it from Monday morning till Saturday morning, and that is what gives Lenny a little bit more edge. The Mullines coach is very inexperienced, and his win-loss record is probably 1 win and about 10 losses in his career in the Premier League. Remember, he was at Portman, he lost all the games since Baby Gardner left. Remember?
Right, yeah, Lawrence.
Right, and he's now at Mullines and he has only won 1 game since he has been at Mullines. So his win-loss record is not exactly the best. Lenny is what I'm calling the teacher. Him know him stuff, him know him we're running. That's a Premier League champion coach already. So I think, Portmore have the edge in my book.
Yeah, yeah. All right. Do you know this player? Because King Tyrese is asking, what do you think about Young from Portmore?
No, I don't know.
I don't know that player. I don't know that player, Tyrese. I'll look out for him this weekend though. Sir Speed, Braxton area says, Sir Speed, I'm looking at this.
Braxton, you know you're always welcome to come up. Say when me I grew up, Braxton was my idol, one of the best striker I ever seen.
Braxton are from over your side as well.
One of the best striker never play for Jamaica. I don't understand how this team never play for Jamaica, and he was so good. And as a matter of fact, I book him up again in a life in a business house. He was playing for Jamaica Commodity Trading, something like that. The company name. Him and Lenny Hyde was playing for the same team. I was on the hard. Summertime when I finish against them, I lose 7 pounds, and he was really a top class striker.
Yeah, very good coach. He was at Constant Spring as well. He is coach at Constant Spring.
Braxton. It's just that I don't have the money to pay. The budget shot. Big up yourself, Braxton.
All right, so the budget shot. Yeah, man. But anything else you want to add onto the league? Any other moves that have been confirmed that you want to,
No. I really don't know of any of that. I'm not really keeping touch up, but I know that a lot of coaches are going around now trying to bolster their squad for the stretch drive because, as you know, the round finish. After this round, there's just one more round for the round finish. Then there's a mad sprint for the last round, which you can't afford to fall behind because there's no coming back if you fall behind in this last round.
Yeah.
And a lot of teams still fancy themselves. I would believe that the top 9 teams have a chance to still qualify for the playoff. So it's only 6 spots. So people have to shuffle up. And this is where that is why these 2 rounds are so important. People are going to try to jack in for position before the next round starts. And then right through the next round, it's going to be, if you thought the first round was good, the second one is going to be more intense. People are going to find points harder to come by.
Yeah.
So that is what is going on.
And I think the fact that some of the games have been moved to like the grass surface, like I said, your team like this, I think, works to the benefit of some of the team with more aged players, in terms of the wear and tear on the legs and stuff like that. So that is something to look forward to. Basco to Humble Lion, since when, Sir Speed? No moves overseas for Webster. Fitzgerald Reed is asking. I think that's Webster that plays for you.
Yeah. There's no the only window that is open for players to move now is in the Americas, and it open until April 10. Webster is definitely not a USL player, so unless an MLS team confirm, you just have to wait until the European window open, which will open in the summer. So we're just concentrating now on playing out the season and also playing into the CFU Club Championship and try to go into the CONCACAF Club Championship. So that's our concentration.
Yeah. Leon Price, there is a player coming from Finland. That was a club. I don't know if he's ready to play or if it's a done deal. Right? If it is, we will see this weekend. If not, when the window is done, we'll know. That is it. I don't know.
Yeah, I heard about that player too. I mean, there's one particular club that apparently they have been handed a huge transfer budget, which nobody else can afford. So yeah.
Is that Cavaliers?
No. Cavalier don't have any budget. Cavalier don't have any budget. You know our style already. We just go in at the bushes and get the best talented player we can find. We don't have no budget for buying a player. One of the reasons that our technical team believe that we can improve any player and improve a team. So we're not really fussed about buying name brand player. We'll take what we get and do what we have to do.
What do you think about Kevin Graham? Kevin Graham is on the older end, I think his better years are
So they want to. So before me even start talk about national football, because I think that's where everybody wants.
Somebody let me give you this. They're saying that Webster is bigger than the USL.
That's what I said. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know if they're asking or they're saying he is. So because there's no question sign at the end of it.
Right, I don't know either. But that's our
And
opinion.
Leon Price him know the club that has been given the youth transfer budget. Don't worry. I don't know, you know. And Balakar say him know which baller you buy from Chilani. Balakar. Tell me how una, man.
Yeah, Balakar, tell him.
Please, Balakar, tell me how that. Sir Speid, which team does the China youth prefer within the U20 squad? There's a China.
I don't know.
The China youth in the U20 squad? Maybe it's there were three players from out of America.
So 4 players from, so all the people who keep on talking about when I look on the overseas player, there was 4 persons in the camp from overseas, right? And they came out and struck their way. And of course, the coach has seen them and they'll be making a decision on them. So there was 4 players. I think one of them is the China. One of the guy you call him China is from overseas.
Isn't he from Montego? One of them said that he's from Montego Bay.
Oh, I'm gonna make it clear here. Nobody that you see at that, they are not in the youth. They are not in the under 20 squad. They are all tryouts.
Okay.
No. So the under 20 squad will have tryouts till the end of April. Every week we'll have tryouts. Overseas based players must come for their tryout in the first week of April and the second week of April. So anyway they're overseas, those are the 2 weeks that is earmarked for people who are born overseas and want to play for Jamaica to come and try out.
The first and second week in April.
Yes. Have your passport, buy your ticket. When you come, we'll give you food and shelter.
Okay. People, you hear that? So those of you have been asking what happened to, you hear that? There is no squad. It is training, trial, it's selection. In America, they'd call it the select camp. They're having a select camp which they're looking for players to select. So the window for players overseas, the first 2 weeks in April, from anywhere, you just come, lodging, and food will be taken care of. You just get to Jamaica with your documentation and try out. So remember, if they have to get any sort of invitation letter, or I don't know if you call it permission letter.
Yes, contact Roman Thomas at the JFF. He's the manager for the team. Mr. Wendell Donzel.
Roman.
I think Roman Thomas. That's the way it's pronounced. The manager for the under 20 team. Then you have Mr. Wendell Donzel, or Mr. Dalton Wint, or Mr. Marcel Gale. Leave me out of it. I don't work for the JFF. So I give you 4 names to contact. Contact those people. Send the name of the players. They will inform you when you're supposed to come. And then they will write. If you need permission from your club, ask them to send a letter to your club. Mr. Thomas is the manager for the team.
All right, so that's Wendell Downswell, Marcel Gale, Ramon Thomas, and General Secretary Dalton Wint.
Yes.
All right.
And do not send a lot of WhatsApp message on my phone talking about you can't get a passport. I cannot help you. I am not involved in operation. I don't know anybody at Pika. I only know where to go when I want my passport. I cannot help you. Direct your inquiries to either Mr. Thomas or Mr. Wint, not to Mr. Gale, or because those are just administrative things. So technical people don't deal with administrative things. All right. And they will do whatever they can do if they want. If they can help you, they will try and help you. But don't believe that is a requirement that we must help people to get their passport.
All right. I have some questions, but I want to just state these. Mr. Speid, former Manning's high school player, Abijah Wallace. He's an excellent attacking player. Sign him up. He's young. Isn't Abijah at college in Manchester, one of those places?
Yeah, he's not eligible. He's not available.
Yeah, isn't he? I know Abijah, man. Abijah in college, man. His younger brother Abina was there at Manning's, and you're asking. No, the Manning's team is very young, you know.
Yeah, they're not ready to play.
Yeah, most of the Manning's players are very young. Like I said, almost the entire Manning's team will be back at school. So that's why. All right, under 20 coach Gil should add under 20 coach Gay should add Jerome Wade to the assistant. He did well with the U20 qualifiers.
Travis, Mr. Gale does not pick coaches. He is the coach for the under 20. He cannot do that. That's a different. He cannot do that.
The man said that. Let these people look what the man said. The man said, "Man is man. Man, you make the man miss him chance. Him at 26. Kevin Graham. I can't miss him. I'm not making him miss him chance.
The man is man. Like, we just go down our road here now, so for help out Fresh Guy and Fitzroy and the rest of people. You see, football is getting very scientific, and a lot of people don't understand how scientific it is, and we just go by emotions and make it rule us. The average age of Jamaica team now is 28.5. The average age to win World Cup is 27.5, and it's getting younger. Therefore, if Jamaica is to carry their best team based on the average age winning age over the history of World Cup, it means that at 2022 the average age should be 23.5. Right?
Yeah.
So based on that, clearly the game is getting to be more of a young man game and a tactical game. Those are the two requirements that people are using to win title. People who can work hard, run hard for the extended periods, and the age is always a factor. So when the team was being picked, so management, give me a second, I have to take a call.
Yeah, man. Yeah. Yeah. Come on, people, hit the like button. Mr. Speed is going to come back on. So here it is that I have. Remember, you see the number is also there. You can also call in to the program and ask your questions if you so desire once you finish making this point. Right. Everton is saying yes. So it was explained by Mr. Speed and Mr. Danny Beckford. How do we do this now? But I can't even go back over it now. But let me explain to you, Everton. Basically, there is tier 1 and tier 2, right? So the Premier League is going to get up to 16 teams. The tier 2 will consist of 18 teams. All right. So every year, 2 teams will go up to the Premier League and 2 teams will be added to the tier 2 until it gets to 18. The teams will play a tier 3 competition in their parishes, which is similar to Major League. And once you win that, you're supposed to be promoted. The leaders of those parish are supposed to ensure that the team that wins meet all the requirements to play in the tier 2, because you could win the Major League, and if you don't meet all of the requirements, they may not allow you to play because you don't meet certain standards. So it is incumbent on the parish association to kind of help the clubs in the Major League, especially the one that win, to determine that. What we have not found out yet is if you have 13 Major League champions from across Jamaica, which 2 qualifies, which would mean that there's going to be some sort of playoff to find the 2 that goes there. You understand me? So that is what it is. It is not they're saying it is not like the farmer. It's not like the farmer, what they call it, the A League. It's a little bit different from the A League. So, yeah, in terms of the structure. But go ahead, Mr. Speed, and finish up, and then we get some of these things.
Yeah. So the tier 2, I mean, we these are things that is what the best in the world has done. Every top league in the world have a tier 2. Spain, England, all the top 5 league, Germany. That's what they do. They don't have the splinter thing that we used to have called the Super League or Major League in every part. So tier 2 is a way for development where you buckle hard in the team before it comes to the Premier League. So when you come to the Premier League, there will be a lot of quality already structured. The difference between this and the A-League that failed was it was purely sporting merit, where you could have a glorified major league team who just come up into the into the A League, and that's what happened. And then the teams were not able to sustain themselves because there was no structure. This particular time we are big on structure. You had to have bank accounts, you had to have the right people in place, managers, etc., etc. You had to have a club license basically, and you had to show us that you can manage, and so um, that is why we have that is why we think it is different. So if you look at the quality teams that enter now, they're all people who have resources. They're all people who are willing to invest in their teams, just like how another person was willing to invest in a team that comes to the Premier League. So to me, it's a different type, and people understand where they are going to go. They don't have a Super League team. They don't have a Tier 2 team. We're going to be protecting the Tier 2 teams for a while. They will not be relegated, so people can spend time on infrastructure, develop their teams, develop their players instead of trying to avoid relegation. So this is why there's a big difference now. You're not spend so for the initially you probably spend about 4 years in the Tier 2 before you start to have to worry about relegation. So we're still giving the Tier 2 teams time to come to get to be good teams before they have to worry about being relegated. So that is a big difference now. While the A League, it was dog eat dog from day one. 16 teams in there, and 4 of them would have been relegated at the end. So that's a big difference now with the 2 teams. Why we think this one will survive.
Okay, all right. Mr. Diego Gilvey that just joined. But before we get into that, thanks Jason for the super chat. He's saying that where is this thing in question about the exclusion of Dujan Richards and the other eligible Phoenix contingent for the U20? Because that's a question that many people have been asking about Phoenix players not being invited.
All right, so maybe just talk the things as how it is.
Yeah.
Phoenix players don't. Some of them play in the school league, but they don't play in any structured JFF competition, right? So they don't play in Premier League. They don't play in Tier 2 not start, but they don't play like in Super League or Major League or some of those competitions. So what the JFF did, like with every other country, I must say, they have to look at the players that they know first. So the first thing we did was look at the list of Premier League players who are eligible, and we found 50. They called 17 based on those that plays more in the Premier League, and they look at those. I think they found some that they think have the standard, not all have the standard. The second thing is to call the other Premier League players that they didn't call in the first time, to look at those. So the ones that are not playing, of course, the Phoenix player wouldn't be in that either. So I reached out to Craig 2 or 3 days ago and said, give me a list of players. He sent me 16 players. Of course, about 4 or 5 of them not eligible. So I have the list, and I've sent on the list to the relevant person, the manager. So those players will be called. There's no exclusion. There is no under 20 squad. What we're doing is training. In the first week of April, we will prepare 2 camps for all the people who are overseas, that is of Jamaican descent or can play for Jamaica. And we are telling them, carry your passport, pay your fare, we'll provide food and lodgings for you. So we're not leaving anybody. Then we're going to be going around the parishes, and we're going to be walking with some players that we think of a certain standard, and we go around the parishes and play against the parish teams and see if we can pick up somebody. We're leaving no stones unturned. And Jason, don't bother try spread no rumor. Nobody's been left behind. We're leaving no stones unturned. And we think this is the most comprehensive hunt we have ever had for under 20 players in Jamaica and across the world.
Yeah. The other question is that Duncan McKenzie.
Yeah, he will be. So he doesn't play Premier League, Duncan McKenzie. So he will be picked up when we're going through the parishes. We will tell Kasafa to have their team come to the JFF Technical Center, and they will be assessed there. So stop it. We're not missing out anybody. It's only if him don't turn up, which we can't go in the house and take him out and can't come. So if him don't turn up, he will not be looked at. But there will be opportunities for every single person born 2003 or after to come, and we will look at them from now until the end of April. After the end of April, you could have talked to the no blue, we now look at nobody else. So everybody get them time, and you need to find a way to make sure so we look at it before the end of April.
All right. All right. Kwame, I did say to you, that people, so whatever your question is, Kwame, put it back in the chat, man. Just copy it and paste it back. Remember, we just started taking question. So just get back the question and put it back. We're not afraid. One thing with Mr. Speid, you may not like his answer, but he's going to answer the question if it is asked. That I can tell you. I'm not afraid to answer, And if him don't want to answer, him say, man, his man, me not answer that,
Which is rare. Which is rare.
That is what I can tell. Sir Diego, I know you came on. Good afternoon. Welcome to the show. What say you? What question you have for Mr. Speid? And Kwame, just put back a question so I can bring it up, right? Go ahead, Diego. Oh, you're muted. Hold on. Go ahead now. Yeah, man, we hear you.
Oh, okay. Yeah, man. Big up Mr. Speid, football legend and thing. Big up yourself. Well, pretty much I'm late, but what I was interested in is the tier two. The first thing, I'm going to ask him a question if he can answer now. As part of Kasafa, why I heard in the news that Kasafa is not interested in the tier two. Why is that?
Well, I mean, Kasafa always operate the best Super League in the country, right? They have, if you see a Kasafa Super League competition is really something to behold. You talk about, you can name the names, Boys Town, you talk about Barbican, you talk about, some really, really good teams. Some really good teams. I'm still one say your champ deck. And you should have paid for that chat because you get personal. Collect money from him. Them money. All right. So, and it's a really good competition. I mean, it sometimes in the past you could find teams in there who are probably better than some Premier League teams. So I think they want to keep their identity and that sovereignty where they play their Super League competition. In the past, the winner of that Super League competition used to go straight to the Premier League. They were not in any playoff, but gradually there's more equity now that people are saying, no, you can't get preferential treatment. You need to qualify the Cassava teams and like everybody else. So that has been the case now. So the JFF, I mean, after consultation with FIFA, CONCACAF, etc., and they all recommend it, and we show them where we want to go. That what we're trying to do as a tier two, we were having 48 teams, 12 teams from each confederation, and then the talent at second tier was just too stretched apart and fragmented. And when those teams come to the Premier League, you're talking about, them like just come up and it's 1 year of misery and then just go back down. So while we're trying to build capacity, we had a lot of seminars over the years. We teach people how to become good teams. We introduce club licensing, we introduce coaching education, and say, listen, start to build good teams, because the better the teams are, is the better players become. So what we wanted to do was now start to prepare these teams to be a semi-pro team before they come to the Premier League, because jumping from amateur to Premier League was just too big a ask. And that is why, but some people like that, because it is good for the top teams, because nobody can test them in the Premier League, because the other teams coming up is just coming from too far down to be able to test them when they come to the Premier League. So we decided to have a second year, and Kasaf was against it right away. They said, no, they're not playing in it, and they're objecting. As to now, I can't see the real reason, because I believe that if I was in charge, I would have said I want 2 teams in the tier 2 instead of 1, because I have 2 parish, but I wouldn't have gone against it. So I can't tell you a good reason, Diego. I can't see the reasoning, because now Kasafa has 6 teams in the Premier League, and if they don't enter this competition, there's not a chance that they'll ever be able to put a next team in the Premier League next year. And if they never enter it, that will be the end of them. They'll never be able to put a next team in it. So Diego, I can't answer you. I can't answer the logics. I just think that they are making the wrong decision on behalf of their constituents, and I would ask them to change their mind, because this don't make any sense in my mind.
Well, that's what I was saying to myself now as a man who follow Jamaica football. If they don't go there, if that is the way to the Premier League, what happens? Suppose 3 or 4 of their teams get relegated now out of the Premier League. They might end up having no team in the Premier League. It's possible.
Right. But what happened is that a lot of Premier League clubs, they might not say it, but they actually, well, all the Premier League clubs, as far as I know, you'll find one and two who say something different because they're playing politics, but all the Premier League club prefer to go into a tier two if they get relegated than to drop in their parish league. Because once you go in your parish league, it's almost like you're dead. You're not coming back, While if you go into tier two, you could take a couple years to get back your bearings, then you can come up back in the Premier League.
But that's what I'm saying. If Lions get relegated out of the Premier League, they'll never come back up if the Cassava team don't go into the tier two.
Correct. Yeah. And that's why I can't understand why anybody would want to not play in the tier two. I mean, if you just look at all the top countries in the world, England, Germany, Spain, everybody, they have a tier two that mirrors a tier one.
But here's my $1 million question now. As you know, I'm involved with Manningsman, with Priory. No,
I didn't know that.
Come on. So what does Priory have to do now to get to the tier two?
Just win the Centre Major League.
Oh, that's automatic promotion to tier two.
No. Then he has to play off with the other parish winners to go.
Oh, yeah. Oh, the way they used to do for the Premier League.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, Diego. So let me just. Mr. Speid said he wanted to respond to this.
Yeah.
Marvin Fagan. Yeah, because I asked that question because I don't know Marvin Fagan.
So Marvin Fagan is not Marvin Fagan is in our Premier League squad. He's our backup keeper when Jedin was abroad.
Oh, he's a goalkeeper. Okay.
Yeah, he's a goalkeeper.
So the question he's asking is that he never played in the Premier League, so he got picked. So why
He
Duncan
is on the
McKenna?
bench. No. What happened
okay.
was that the Premier League is divided into two segments. As I tell you, there is 50 players, so they decided to split it in two. So all the players in the Premier League will eventually get a chance to try out in these trials that we're going to have. Why Marvin Fagan was picked was because he's a goalkeeper and they never had a goalkeeper there. Basically, that's really why. Because he was a specialist, they couldn't find a lot of goalkeepers and then just pick many more some goalkeeper, so him get picked. Not because he's Cavaliers, because he's a goalkeeper.
Okay.
Oh, and by the way, we never said them have to play in a JPL, them have to be registered to a JPL Premier League team. That's the set we're looking at first.
Okay, so the first set of trials, the first set of trials is for the players in the JPL.
Yes, registered.
Registered, and then you're going to go outside of the JPL. All right, I think this is a question that this is a question Kwame was asking. Mr. Speid, you said in the 2019 under 20 cycle, Jamaica lost out to goal difference against Mexico. So you learned the lesson that the JPL under 20 players is the way to go. So what this All Ireland trial for?
No. So it is true that schoolboy players is not the ideal players to play in an under 20 World Cup qualifier because who you're playing against is not schoolboy. You're going to be playing against professional players. The last time we had a lot of professional players in that team that Mexico beat and came second in the World Cup. So that is true. But you have to remember whatever his name, that
Kwame.
Yeah, we have our constituents, right? And there's going to be one or two players somewhere that have a lot of quality that wasn't registered for a Premier League team. As soon as we find that player anywhere in the country, we are going to advise him that no, he don't have no excuse. He must find himself into a professional outfit, either a Premier League team or a tier 2 team, which there's a list out there, so he can get continuous training throughout from now on until the World Cup qualifiers come along. Because preparing a team is not just coming to trials at the JFF. That is not enough time for you to prepare a player to play in a World Cup qualifier. You have to be preparing yourself by playing at a high level, training with high level people who will pressure you and stretch you and put you under immense pressure for you to perform.
Okay. All right. This person is saying that Phoenix have a specialist goalkeeper, so he didn't get picked. I think he answered. All right. I think he answered that already, saying that.
Sports on the ball. You should have paid $10 for that for the start. Me just tell you, say, all of the Phoenix player them, I reach out to Mr. Butler myself and I get the list and I pass it on and they will be called. Sports on the ball, pay some money, man. Come on.
Okay. So let me hear what Mr. Speed said. 16 players were recommended from Phoenix, but 5 of them.
Born 2002, so them not eligible.
So only 11. So you'll
So
see.
I don't know if the goalkeeper born 2002. Here, sports on the ball. You're not on the ball, you know.
So there will be 11 players from Phoenix at the trials, right?
They will be called. No, they were not there yet. They will be called.
They will be called to the trials. Duncan McKenzie will go to the trial. This player, Rushian Taylor from Dunbeholden. The Dunbeholden right back, because maybe he was missed.
The players that were not called to the trials in the first instance,
they will.
All the rest of Premier League registered players will be called to a trial, so we look at them. Is the trials last for 7 weeks from now until the end of April. So all the people will be looked at. If you don't get looked at, it's your fault.
Okay. All right. And then players from overseas have the first 2 weeks of April to come into the trials.
Yes.
Is there any case where a player is playing in a particular league that he may not need to trial, or even if you play?
Yes.
Okay.
So if you show me a player that play for Manchester City or Arsenal, I know the first team squad, you know,
they don't need to trial.
Some top league. No. After the trials, we will call those players to train with the team to see if they'll be in the final 20.
Okay, that makes sense. Okay, so not all players, there are exception to the rules. Diego, somebody
asked. Be careful with that, because some people might think they're an exception and don't come.
Yeah. Okay. Is it dark glasses for medical reason, or they're asking if it's for swagger?
Matrix. Tell them watch the movie Matrix.
Yeah, anyway, go ahead. I don't know if you have any more questions there for Mr. Speed. What I want to ask with the team, you know, me have to ask this, you know, because this is a player that was at Cavaliers. Kaim Paris.
Mm-hmm.
How come he wasn't even invited? Well, let me say this. What? All right. Maybe I need to ask, was he invited to this last training camp or into the squad? Or is it that he's not playing well? Yeah.
So I'm glad how you asked about the player and you're saying come from Cavalier. And I'm going to give you the honest answer. I don't know. I don't pick team. The coach decide who plays all the time and decide who make the squad all the time. And I'm not going to question the coach. So that is a question that I cannot answer. The coach have his job. I have my job. The coach don't perform. I recommend that him get fired. I cannot tell a coach who to pick and then recommend him get fired. So the coach will go say, but you tell me to do this A, B, C, and D. So I will never fall in that trap. So don't ask me that question. I am only for policy. I don't get my hands dirty. Policy alone.
All right. I will need to speak. Go ahead, Diego.
So like the great Bill Parcells, man. When he goes to clients and them say, when he said to them, if you want me to cook the meal, man, I gotta go do the grocery shopping. You understand me? How you gonna judge me? Let me go do the grocery shopping.
This guy.
You have to make the coach select him team, yes.
Yeah,
yes.
Well, that is true. But what I'm saying though is that I thought like somehow that because I don't know if Paula is familiar with all the players. Kaim Paris is in Slovenia. He's playing well. No invitation. Well, we need to get Paul Hart.
No. Right? He was invited to the Peru game. Don't say that.
Yeah, but he submitted his COVID positive results, tests or whatever.
I'm saying there was a reason why he didn't get to come. But don't say he wasn't invited. He was invited to a game in the recent past.
Okay. Management, what the infrastructure requirement for the tier 2 teams? We need some good level fields, bumpy and green.
And price, yeah. Initially when the tier 2 was designed, it was going to be played at certain venues, not all the venues for the games, because we're trying to mirror the Premier League. So we had asked for about 6 venues for the tier 2 to be played at. Now, based on what the government just said, it is possible that we, I think we're still going to try to get that done, but it is possible that it might be extended back to the communities, but they still would have to have certain quality type of feel for us to pass them for them to play.
All right. You see this one? So how goalkeeper Watson who start a JPL game no get pick? True him no the Cavaliers again.
And champ deck, him actually their Waterhouse. So that means he should have get picked because the coach for the national under 20 team comes from Waterhouse. So kiss your teeth all they want champ deck. You're not making any sense.
It's so like
It's not his time yet, champ deck. So them decide to split up the goalkeeper them when they come in, and that's why. But he will be there.
Eventually, because you said
make no sense, champ deck. You should have paid about $20 for that food question.
All right, Brain Drain. Thank you for the super chat. Say, I'm submitting my offering because blessings is.
I don't know if you asked this question, Manningsman, to Mr. Speid. Now, when does relegation? When do you start dropping out of the Premier League? What year does that start? What is the plan?
3 years from now.
3 years, okay.
Yeah, the idea behind that was for people, instead of spending money to avoid relegation, they would spend the money on development, fixing their facilities, and also investing in younger players, because there has to be a time when we decide to regenerate. What is happening to us, Diego, is that people don't see certain sides of the game. Them just ask some questions on the surface. What is happening to us is that we just not have enough proper coaches to bring through the youth them from an early age. I mean, we did a coaching course with a coach, and I don't want to play what him said because you don't might recognize the coach voice. You know what the coach said to us? I was just abusing the kids. Him saying him so ashamed of himself. He was just abusing the kids, same a coach. He don't know what him do, and he just abuse the kids. So we did a coaching course and we tell them about safeguarding our kids. We show them how to coach, how to handle conflicts, so all of those things. And when we finish, that is what the guy said on the course. So what we're trying to do now is to make sure that we have all of those quality coaches right through the island. We did 85 coaches already in about 5 parishes. We'll line up our next 160, so we're going to do 240 by the end of this year. We're going to do 120 C license coach. Those coaches are at the D license level. We have another 24 coaches to do at the D, and we get 6 spots to do A license coaches in Jamaica. So we're going to send 6 people overseas in Trinidad to do a A license course, a CONCACAF A license course. So what we're trying to do is to make sure that every single player from a young age is exposed to a good coach. And we believe that we'll be able to get better players from a younger age. So what a lot of people believe, say, you start to prepare a player to play in a World Cup qualifier under 20 when we pick a squad. So that is why so much people are angry about the under 20 squad. Them believe, say, we must pick a squad now and start to prepare the players. No. If you want to prepare a player to play in a World Cup qualifying game, whether under 17 or under 20, you have to start preparing from under 13 or younger. That is how you start preparing a player. So one of the plans we have is to get good coach down there, and also to create a player pathway where the best play against the best from the parish leagues, right? Best, and then we create an elite youth. No, we're not throwing out the rest of youth and the grassroots youth, but of course, some of them will late room and come across, but we're creating an elite set of players from 13, 15, 17, 20. So those players now will be able to easily adapt to international football. So for instance, the academies where we have an academy regulation in place now. So you're gonna have A, B, C, and D academies. If you become an A academy, you definitely have to go overseas to play football. So like a Mr. Butter team will probably be a Cavalier, a Mount Pleasant will be an A academy, because you put all of those infrastructure and money into the game, right? So once you become an A academy, right away you can see that those players will start to prepare themselves already to play international football. And the more that we get, is the better teams Jamaica will have. So we're doing a lot of capacity building that a lot of people not seeing. Them just come and ask questions about who in the under 20 team, when I don't even care who is in the team. I just curious that Jamaica will have a quantity of player that is able to be looked at to represent the teams. Now, it's the first time we have ever had 50 players that have the age of play under 20 in our Premier League. First in the history.
First time since we keeping record, man. It has happened before, but we weren't keeping any record.
It happened before. Whenever you say young players, 50
no,
of them.
I am telling you when Charlie Simit team, that Charlie Simit 1995 team, the amount of players from that Charlie Simit team, Norman Manley, Dunoon, all of those. No, Mr. Speed, me I tell you, I was playing under 20 and all of those.
Anyway, some of them birth certificate they couldn't verify them time. So just remember me tell you that, yeah? Talk about bona fide, what we sure about. And look here, and in this transfer window, there's going to be even more than 50 now because I know that a lot of clubs going to the schools and gobbling up the players and so you might end up with about 75 this year. So and we're sure so them are 2,003 under. And we're really proud of that fact our building capacity because if we have a lot of good players, then it's easier for pick good players.
All right. Run to this question, Diego, because of our next this one say another question from Mr. Speed. Why people overseas can't get Reggae Boys jersey?
I don't know nothing about marketing, me are technical.
All right then. Karumi is saying that when there is no relegation, you're really making excuse for poor coaches.
No, Karumi. Remember, what we're trying to do is not just develop coaches. We're talking about developing the clubs. And we have gone through all the parishes. I have personally gone through all the parishes and show the clubs how to be better clubs. I've also ensured that these have a presentation which I share and show them how you must structure your clubs for better clubs. And one of the main things that I stress, get the best people. If you don't get good coaches, Karumi, your club not going away. If you don't get good management, your club not going away. So I've stressed that with all of the clubs, say, get the right people. Get professional people to hold on the post then, right? So I am not trying to be one-dimensional. I just mentioned coach, but there's so much other aspect. And guess what? If you have a good leader, you go get good people. The first rule of being a good leader is to get the best people around you in a Karumi. Just remember that. So once you have a good president, the rule is to get the best people around you.
Yeah. All right. Brain Drain saying that you come prepared. Diego. Prepared. Benji, your baller, Diego said, big up, my boss.
Oh, original. Big up yourself, genius. But listen now. And, I get cussed, and Mr. Speed said the same thing, when I call a radio station, and say, until 19, there's no coaches in Jamaica. Until I went down there in 1990, and said, never Bella coach Georges. Because before that, we just kick and run. Send the ball to the dribbler. Kick it on the wing and make him do him thing. Kick it down on the flag. And then cost me, coaching is the key. I have to start from early.
Yes, and
primary school, as you say, Mr. Speed.
The guy, I tell you, the coach tell me say he might abuse the people and pitting. That's what I'm saying. He said to time out, he shout at the top. I've been to one match, and I saw them met the groundsman a coach youth them. And when I said it, I said, boy, this not right, the groundsman you have a coach youth them. Some people vex with me. That's the reality we have in Jamaica, and we have to change it. So all of these people will say they know about football and they know about football. Them don't understand it's the 5 moments. And if you don't know what to do in the 5 moments, kicking the ball long is not a moment.
I have a friend who was a center half in high school. Legendary Mr. Speed. Center half. And the one said to me, Diego, that was the easiest 5 years of my life. Because all the coach them I know. Kick it to the corner flag, make him run it down. Kick it to the corner flag.
All right. Let me get this one. Mr. Speed, there's a conversation between Leon Price and Fresh God. Fresh God is saying that Sabina Park is level. Leon Price, who is into grounds and stuff, saying that Sabina Park is bumpy. Your team playing it.
So you say it's a matter of perspective. Because with Sabina Park, when they have cricket, they feel even better than how it was. When we played on it. So it's a matter of perspective. And if you compare it with Arsenal field or Manchester City field, of course it's bumpy. But when you compare it in a Jamaica content, I one of the best field, so it's perspective.
Yeah. Somebody is asking, Travis is asking if there's any way I can do this.
Yeah, talk to the wrong club person. We don't do that at Cavalier. As a matter of fact, we tell you what we do at Cavalier. We prefer a youth who is in an under 17 competition. We prefer him be 15 and playing an under 17. We're not like other clubs who want an 18-year-old to play in under 17. We're not going to do that at Cavalier. That will never happen.
All right. So let me get some of the clarity because I hear I need to talk. Paul, I need to talk about respond to Kai in Paris. One. Number two, you said that Duncan McKenzie will be there. The Phoenix.
No. I said that when the CASAFA trials come around, if Duncan is not registered to a Premier League team, he will get his chance to impress the coaches.
Right. He will get his chance. Meaning, yeah, man. And the Phoenix players contact
they
has
will
been
get
made.
their chance to impress the coaches. We're not going to call all of them one time. They'll probably call in two.
And then you're also going to go across the parish just in case there is this one talent out there somewhere who may not be in the Premier League, can be identified by the coaching staff to come in and train.
Well, let me not say one because somebody accused me of any amount that is out there.
Any amount that is out there. All right, I have a big question, Mr. Speid, and I need to ask this. Maybe you can help me. And maybe I don't know if Diego have any expertise on this. When a youth is at a club, right? Say he goes to school, is he a professional or an amateur? He's an amateur.
Right. So what we have done in the Premier League is to account for these players who want to play and want to preserve their amateur status. So you can register any amount of amateur players in your squad of 30. The only proviso is that you can only use 5 in each game. 5 of them in each game on your match card at 20. So you could have 10 people who don't have a professional contract, but you can only use 5.
No, man, that's fine. Because here's the question. So in other jurisdiction, if I am an amateur player, all I need to do when I want to leave a club is sign an amateur contract. No transfer fee, nothing at all. Why in Jamaica, even when an amateur player is moved, there is transfer fee when the player is not a professional?
It's not a transfer fee, it's an administrative fee.
Okay, so all right.
Like semantics,
yeah, it is, but we were very careful for coin it to say it's an administrative fee.
No, what I'm saying is that any player who is not an amateur can just change his club by signing the amateur contract at a next club without
pay the administrative fee to the club.
All right, people. All right, because what happened is that I know of a player who was moving to a Premier League club, and the club don't want, basically never release the player. No, but the player is an amateur. They don't have a professional contract. I'm saying that as an amateur, you're still under your parents' guidance, and all you have to do, is your parents sign and say, listen, I want you to play for Arnett Garden.
No. Stop spread propaganda, man.
It can't work like that?
Depends on the age of the player. If you're under 16, yes. But if you pass your 16th birthday, FIFA don't recognize you as under parental control anymore.
But you're still an amateur?
Yes, but you can be amateur till you're 40. So
all
the age don't make you amateur. It's really a status that you want.
So I need to find out, because can an amateur player just leave a club and or the club can say, I am not allowing you to leave?
No. Amateur player, the club cannot hold an amateur player from transferring. So let me tell you the rule, how you go about it. If there's an amateur player that wants to leave from Cavalier to go to our next club, him don't even have to tell Cavalier that he's going to train with the next club. He can just walk out and go train with the next club. When he goes there and the club comes to Cavalier for the transfer to be signed, Cavalier can demand their administrative fee, and in this case, it is $60,000.
That is administrative fee?
Yes.
I thought the administrative fee was where you pay to the parish association.
That's a different fee. That is like a $4,000. So the club where you're leaving, and it is a way to protect not so much a Premier League club, but to protect the smaller clubs, because the Premier League clubs would run in on the small clubs and take all the players for free. So it's really a way, because they wouldn't have any professional players. So I could just wait from prior if groom some youth and just run in on them and take all of them players. So that is why that $60,000 there was put up to kind of compensate.
Because that is what Diego and I are saying, they're gonna saying that a man could just come in and see one of my player now.
Yeah.
And just say want to sign him. And we don't have no say Diego because we're not paying them, so they're amateur.
Yes. So that is all. So that 60,000 was for protection for the amateur clubs. Basically, they would get back something for the players.
Yeah, you understand, Diego? So we can't stop any player, you know. Unless you're paying them, you can't stop them. You have no contract with them. Any player can leave your club at any point.
Right. Correct. But there can be amateur contracts till them are 18. So you can sign a player to amateur contracts at 18. But you can't. So if you decide to just pay him school fee and those, him and him parents can sign a contract until he's 18. But when he gets 18 birthday, he can walk with you again. So if you have a youngster younger than 18, you and him parents, the parents have to sign on the contract on the player, and then you tell the person what you're going to do, and then tell you what they're going to do until they are 18. Then you can move on to a professional contract, or the player can leave you at that time.
Yeah. All right. Awesome. All right. Listen, Mr. Speid, I mean, I know you're not involved in it, but you know what I think to myself? I said that because you said you always advocate for this, you know, the necessity of the league being promoted. All right. That's important so it can increase as a brand. So one of the biggest promotion the league can have for other stakeholders is when a top goal scorer can get to train with the national team. Our teams select the top goal scorer in the league. You're not promoted. The league is not being promoted as a. Not to make the squad, you know.
But to train. Full question where Paul Chris gave for ask me.
No, man, give a question. No, man.
So me and Paul Christie are friends. People don't get between me and Paul Christie. No care what you hear me say about it. All right. So, as I explained it before, man, right? You know, a lot of times, let me use Richard King as an example. 3 things that happen for Richard King to get a game for Jamaica team, you know. Lower to get a red card and get too much ban, because normally would get 1, right? Too much ban. What's his name had to go back to England, same of course. Liam Moore, and then Paul had to change the formation for King to get a look in. It's 3 events that in a 1 week will happen for him to get a chance. So a lot of time you have players who are doing well. Remember I used to watch West Indies cricket, Diego, where you used to have Carlisle West and man make 100 every week. But the Garden British and Desmond Yanes, how we are going to play? You understand? You can't play. So don't everybody keep on saying this thing about football. I same thing. You can't do their score goal every single week. Oh, you get out Michael Antonio. Tell me how you get out Chippy. Just tell me how. And then we can understand. Oh, you get out Jamal Lowe. You know, it's like that. So don't say because I'm in a JPL score most goal in more pain. I don't say.
Well, the same thing you come up with the same Tuffy Anderson thing.
No, kind of Tuffy. What Tuffy Anderson? What kind of Tuffy Anderson? Tuffy Anderson not playing.
Come with that Tuffy Anderson that must speak come and lead league and scoring.
No.
Tuffy Anderson.
What I am saying, Diego, is that they were selecting players.
Local Corrigan side in New York for start over my side.
So the national team, you know, is not an all-star team, you know. That's the difference. People, just remember saying national team is not an all-star team. It's a national team. An all-star team, it must be in it. But national team is not an all-star team. National team is a national team.
Oh, Brain Drain is just reminded that Shamar Nicholson is on that list.
A football man.
No.
Me have Richard West and try Pinnock up front. How Tuffy Anderson are going to play over them, man?
How Tuffy Anderson coming at the argument?
Use an analogy.
Oh,
yes, good analogy, Diego.
No, let me give you what I'm saying. Diego, the situation though is different. What happened is that they were having a training camp for local players.
So
what I am saying is
let me just say something again.
The leading goal scorer in the league.
So, man's man.
Oh, to call for a training squad.
Training squad, yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense.
What I'm saying is that a 27-year-old was invited.
He's 20 yet.
And what they call a 27-year-old.
Which 27-year-old?
Denardo Thomas.
Yes, but them have a deficit in those positions. Them have a deficit in a forward, which is what I'm explaining to you.
Okay.
And then based on you trying to cut down the age, you can't carry everybody who over the average age where you want. No, when you want the average age down there, so in a 4 years time. Remember we talked about the 27 and a half is the average age where you're
Yeah.
looking at in a 4 years time. So some people older get or get drop out.
So, Stephen James says that there is no real selection policy.
No, the Stephen James, the local squad. Let me explain again. My understanding, policy. This is policy. I don't care who they pick. The policy, what they're trying to achieve is to look at the next generation of players who is going to be eligible to play in the 2026 World Cup. That's what they were trying to achieve with the local camp, not players necessarily to play. That is why Zeminis was picked at 17. Them looking at the people who is going to be eligible to be playing in the next World Cup who will be under the age of 27 and a half. That was what they're trying to achieve, right?
Okay.
There was a few positions where there's a shortage right now, and they were looking at some players because they're trying to bridge both gaps.
Hey, but
So if
Mr.
you
Speed,
come with a 28-year-old, 4 years time in going to be 32.
Yeah,
They're
Mr.
not
Speed,
looking for the 32-year-old.
but why? That is why now we need to come out and say these things
You know,
from
you hear me say
before.
it?
Yeah,
No,
but
we
you
have to
said
say it
after.
before. But we have to say it before because who in our world come out and tell everybody what them are plan in a football? Come on, unfair to Jamaica.
All right, Diego, your team playing Bronx League this summer?
Well,
Somebody asking.
Somebody asked me a question before. Let me see question before Diego come with it.
Which the 5. I think Baggio.
5 moments. You see, that's such a good question, buddy.
Let me tell him that. We could tell him that the principles are the pillars of football and the moments. We can't tell him that, but you go ahead.
No, a good question, Baggio asked. And them people I like that. Because them ask real pertinent question.
No, Mr. Smith, I'm not going to make a deal with my subscriber. Them say, I mean, them people here. All of my subscriber, them ask good question.
No,
you mean I agree with them? But them ask good questions, so don't bother with that. But go ahead and deal with answer Baggio.
You know what? Me I try to get the people them who will pay, who will pay for them question, right? But Baggio want a good question. So, Baggio, attacking and defending, right? So, what to talk about the moment is what does the team do when they're defending? That is one. But defending can be in your own half, which is what them call when team advance and you know how you defend, or how you defend when you're defending the opponent half, which is what people call it, like when you're pressing, right? But you have other people who believe that you could devise a policy to defend at the middle turn or to defend at different parts of the pitch. So defending is one of the moments where the team doing a defend. So if you notice, modern teams, when you're defending, everybody defend. Poor teams, only some people defend, right? So what is the plan when you're defending? What is the plan when you're attacking? So again, you're attacking your own half, you're attacking from the opponent half. Counter attack is neither. Counter attack is a type of attack, but it's like a cousin. So those are two moments, attacking and defending. Is what the team do when you're attacking or when you're defending. Then you have transition to attack or transition to defense. What happens when you just lose the ball? What you do? What happens when you just win the ball? So those are the 4 moments. And the 5th one is set play. What happens when somebody get a set play against your team? What happens when you get a set play against the opponent team? So those are the 5 moments, Baggio. And no care how players good, if they don't work in unison in the 5 moments, the team not a good team. It's just a very bad team if you can't manage it. So that is why Diego say, if you kick your ball long, that is not a moment.
Right. Just so to know that Brain Drain, the Calabar man, said, gentle reminder, most times I make outstanding points.
Yes, Brain Drain. I just assume you want to pay money for one of your questions.
Calabar man right there. But Jeremy Benjamin is saying that there are too many excuses because he's talking about Atafarai. By agree, he's saying he's playing in the top league in the country and he's scoring. And then he says, but players in the team don't play for their clubs. I think that's what he's saying.
Which player in the team, man?
Not playing for the
players
club.
that were in the team were playing for the in the camp were playing for the club.
Yeah.
And again, what I keep on telling people is that if the coach doesn't need a player in a position, he's not necessarily going to look at the player. I keep on saying. So the player that you're pushing will come up against Mikel Antonio, Jamal Lowe, Chippy. It depends on what even with Paris that you talk about. Suppose the coach not necessarily use wingers. Why? If you use three at the back, management, you use the two wing back then to occupy the flank of the field. So you might not go for out and out wingers. Why we don't just understand the football, man? If you use three at the back, it means that the person who you want that those winger positions going to be the wing back with the wide. Not you're not going to look for orthodox wingers. If you're playing a 4-3-3, you might look for orthodox wingers or a 3-4-3. So it depends on the formation of the coach decide to use. Him look for certain players. Every player don't fit every system. You can't put a round peg in a square hole and expect it to fit. Come on, people.
All right. Kwame says if the age group will be 27 years old, Mr. Speid, why Leon Bailey, Morrison, Pinnock, Gray, Jamal Roof, and many others who would be out of that age group 26 got called up?
It's a decent question. 27.5 is the average age. So that means you're going to have some over and you're going to have some under. So you can average out at 27.5. I'm talking about the average age. But in addition, let me explain to you. JFF cannot feel a weak team in these other World Cup qualifiers. We're ranked 60 hard. We don't want to kill our ranking down to anything. So it's going to be a gradual process. So there still has to be some players who still able to do the job that will be kept in the team and played. You know, we have the Nation League coming up and we're in the Zone A with Canada, El Salvador, all the top teams. So we're in that Nation League grouping. Out of that Nation League, you qualify for the Gold Cup. Yeah. So what happens is that we have to make sure that we're good in that competition too. So we can't strip down the team down to bare bones one time. It's gonna be a process, right? So
I'm glad a man like Mr. Speid is saying, because they don't listen today going on, but Mr. Speid have the status and the ratings for them listen to. I am saying to them, football, you can't wait to 26 because you have ranking, you have Nation Cup, you have Gold Cup. So you still have to try to keep a nucleus team with the best players together.
Right.
They might look for now say who going to play 2026. And that's a football player.
No.
Championship, Nation League.
You have to do both. You have to look to 2026 and keep your ranking now. So
yes.
So what he's saying is that you can't just go for some 23, 18-year-old. You have to play with the best players. Go back to the same thing he's saying. The Ravel Morrison, the Leon Bailey, the Gray, you still have to use them. You still have to use them.
The one thing I say is I think Kai Paris should have been called. But
so what the coach did was pick 16 players who him say, see 16 here, me I go use the best 16 me can find. And then me I go pick eight more youths, 8 person who him think it can develop to become top players in the next
year. What the coach is doing. I love what the coach is doing.
So what happened now, management? What happened now, management? With that policy, right, which we agree on. So blame me for the policy too, which because me agree with it, is that for that 8 man when I go grow him up to become the standard. You now tell me why I would have pick a 28-year-old. Just tell me.
No, here's my
answer that question.
Answer. Yeah. I am saying that. Here's my perspective. I totally agree that at 28, he's not someone that you're going to build for your campaign in 2026. I totally agree with that. All right? No problem. Here's my issue though. If this present form continues in the local league, why can't he play in a Nations League game against Bonnier?
Because Bonnier is not in our zone. We don't have nothing like that in our Nation League.
I give an example.
No. Don't bother with them full example.
What kind of full example?
Who is in our zone? USA, Canada, Costa Rica, Panama. Bonnier not in our zone, brother. Don't come with that
in the Nations League?
Yeah, Bonnier in our zone because we come to the top zone. It's
right.
Canada, USA, Mexico, Panama, El Salvador, Honduras, Jamaica, all of the top team them where we are playing now.
No, they are not in our zone.
A joke you make. Me have a list come and come back. As a matter of fact, I'm going to find you and tell you.
All right. So my thing though is because because you call a 27-year-old out of the same league, though you say it's a different position, it is from that perspective. But here's what I am not going to give up on. I think that Kaheem Paris on performance, you say you can't answer that, which is fine. I'd love to ask the coach this. How a man can be playing in the Slovenian league? His team is about to qualify for Champions League. He has the second most goal in the league. He is the most influential player. He makes team of the week, team of the month, player of the month, and he doesn't get called.
You know,
For this game, though he missed out on the Peru friendly game because of COVID.
And that is why I'm not saying anything, because you all yourself because of my player. So let me tell you, who in the League A in the Nations League. Canada,
you're right. Because the League A, if you don't finish a certain, you come down to League B.
Costa Rica, Curacao, Honduras, Mexico, Martinique, Panama, United States, El Salvador, Grenada, Jamaica, and Suriname. And
that's one zone.
That's zone League A, Team League A. And League B have Bermuda, Cuba, Haiti, Trinidad and Tobago, Antigua and Barbuda, Belize, Dominica Republic, French Guiana, Guyana, Montserrat, Nicaragua, St. Vincent and again is Bahamas, Barbados, Guadeloupe, and Guatemala. The team where you are talking about the name Banner, them in a League C.
No, me just use that as an example. Sorry, but
no, don't try that, Mannings, man. Don't try that.
Don't try that with me.
But I'm being for example. It's all right. Anytime
you Mannings, man. But try to get the understanding with. You are saying that Kareem Paris should be called?
Yeah.
And you're basing that on his performance in where he's playing?
Yes.
So my question to you, where has Kareem Paris been? I've been following. He wasn't on the recent teams. What's going on?
He wasn't called for the recent World Cup qualifiers. He was called for the Peru. He was called for the Peru friendly.
But he couldn't come to the World Cup qualifier. I have COVID. It was the next week, you know.
Right, he had COVID, so he couldn't turn up. Since he recovered from COVID, he has been scoring goals, and he wasn't called. That's all I'm saying. Why wasn't he called if he's performing? And we have
Leon. Speed response to that? No, I want to get that.
And I'm saying that Leon Bailey. I think Leon Bailey should be here now, but Leon Bailey is also recovering from injury. How many minutes can he play? What if he picks up a knock? Shouldn't we have a Kaheem Paris as a replacement?
I understand what you're saying now. I'm asking Mr. Speed now. What's the answer to that, Mr. Speed? Why you think he wasn't called?
I don't know. I will not ask the coach because there you go. These people can't eat them cake and have it. When them see a Cavalier player call, them say, you make the player call. He's a next Cavalier player.
That is true.
I'm not helping them any at all. I'm leaving it alone.
Because in the diaspora, everybody's talking about your conflict of interest.
Yes.
And since you joined, I'm not talking, I'm talking straight, that you are influencing the selection of Cavaliers players. Okay, so he wants to stay away from that one. You have to ask the coach that one.
Leave alone. I leave it alone. I leave it alone. But this is proof that I'm not influencing anything because I would make sure.
Yes.
All right. Let me say, Balakar, Mr. Speed said 16 Phoenix players were. He spoke to Mr. Butler. He presented 16 Phoenix players. 5 of those will not play. The next 11 will be seen by the coaching staff. It is not a squad. It is training. All right, so answer Balakar. You can't say, but he said it already. Maybe I missed it. Stan Cranky is saying, did we call any overseas youth to become the standard?
Well, Stan Cranky, I'm glad you come because you always have a talk about the people from overseas. So we not call them. So there was 4 players in the training. There was 4 players in the training this week from overseas. I'm not gonna tell you. I'm not say nothing. But there was 4 players in the training this overseas, and we have earmarked 2 weeks for the players to come down. Stan, they are supposed to pay their fare. We will provide food, shelter, and clothing for them when they come. Oh, and internet. Maslow law needs. We'll be providing all of those. Food, shelter, clothing, and internet when they come.
All right.
So Mr. Speed, what is the criteria for calling foreign players? What does the foreign player needs to give to the coaching staff to get selected?
Well, it's because we're just looking at them. We're not calling them for the squad. We're just looking at them. They need to just register and we structure when they can come and we get to look at them. So we not tell them, say, you have to be playing anything. You want to come, just come and we'll look at you.
Got you.
But I think what needs to happen is the players. I'm going to say to you, based on what I've been hearing through the grapevine, if you don't have a passport, they're gonna give you a warm time. So make sure you can start processing your Jamaican passport.
Get your
And if you need,
passport because we're not into that roller coaster emotional thing where you come and we are make a train and you train. You get out a man who we should be training him to participate, and then you're not on a passport. Just when you're ready to pick the squad, you're not on a passport. I mean, we're not into that.
And if you need permission from your club or wherever, you can call the JFF, speak to Mr. Dalton Wynn, Marcel Gale, Roman Thomas, and Wendell Downswell.
Yes, those are the people
4
responsible.
names.
Don't call me. I don't work for the JFF. I'm into policies. So when I come here, I tell you the policies. The nuts and bolts and the operation is not me. I don't call no player. I don't even go to the camp to look if player good or them doing good. I make sure I don't even go there. So don't call me.
Well, so Cranky says, good to hear, Mr. Speed. And then he says, so what is the recruiting process to identify and call players, regardless of who assumes expenses?
There's no recruiting process. There's players that we are tracking who are playing in top leagues, the top 10 league in the world. Those players, we are looking at them for ourselves. We're not asking anybody to look at them. Of course, you have Mr. Paul who was at under 20 camp. If we need players, people have recommended players to me already. I've told him he has a system in England and in Europe to find the players. So we have somebody there, right, to find the players for us and assess them. So the top players, don't worry about them. We will find them. It's the players who we're not going to find. We are saying come to the trials and we could look at you and see if you have a standard.
Okay. So again, if you're playing at Arsenal, if you're in the Arsenal team, like say there's a player called Omari Hutchinson, he doesn't need to. The JFF would have him on their radar, and they'll say, "Listen, we're inviting you." But if you're at Priory Soccer Academy, you understand me? It's different.
You come for holiday and you think you can charge for Jamaica team, we'll look at you. But we have a time. You must contact us before the end of April. After that, we are in the stage where we're preparing the team, the squad. We might have about 35 people. We're preparing those 35 going to the World Cup qualifiers. So you have up to the end of April. We need May and parts of June to do business with the team. We can't help you after that unless in that time, if you play for one top team and we track you, we will incorporate in a training camp before we pick the final 20.
As you mentioned that, Mr. Speed, now, because I travel and watch the teams or even the senior team. When does the qualifier start and who are we playing against?
The qualifiers start in June and in early July. In June, so we don't have a lot of time.
In Honduras, at the Tegucigalpa Stadium, the stadium there in Honduras, Jamaica, right. Honduras, Costa Rica, and Antigua in the zone.
Yeah.
How much goes through?
Top 3 out of that goes through to the round of 16.
Top 3 out of 4?
Yeah.
Don't assume that man Antigua can.
No, but after that you have a round of 16.
And you need to win. You need to win to get a good job because the women team that just barely scraped to at third, they went into a tough draw in the knockout phases.
Against Panama and got knocked out in the round of 16.
Right. So you need to win and come good. So don't think about just beating the last team down.
Got you.
By the way, Cranky, me like say you come on the program. You don't know me, you have some difference of opinion. I don't respect you.
Cranky, you need to call him. Cranky, you need to call him.
But Cranky, I don't need Cranky no man. Cranky, the under 20 girl team, they'd have more foreign based players on it than local. Right?
No, Mr. Speed, said that's no me and you the under 20. Hey, Mr. Speed, don't bring up the under 20. Don't bring up.
Anyway, continue.
Don't bring up the under 20 thing because
I don't want to talk about this thing.
No, but I agree with that, because the selection was the issue. And that a lot of the girls from overseas, actually, a couple of them played at a club in Jamaica. So we now go down the road. So that is not the exact.
Your
that is not
definition
the
you
exact-
talk about now, but Kant is okay.
Yeah.
The next question.
Yeah. What
Time
about
to come.
Mikel Antonio? I mean, I know he was out, but I mean, yeah.
Him out, man.
But he played for his club. But I
Him
noticed you.
not coming. Him not coming.
Okay. All right. Let me get this one here. Mr. Speed, when you're building a national team, the coach need to build with players in the age range who are playing at the highest level, not with these mediocre players in the JPL.
So I mean, you say you asked some good question before, but no, you're not for disrespect the player. Then. As me say, you have to be careful with disrespect player. No matter what the player play, and me not really subscribe to anybody or disrespect player like that. So, hear what me I said to you now. We have some players that use all of these players that we have played for Jamaica. A lot of them, the Blake, all of those players playing at JPL before. A lot of the legends them we have. Top all of them players that play somewhere in JPL before, right? Richard King now one of the latest one. We actually show you same can play the best in the world. In the game against Costa Rica, he was the best player on the pitch on both teams. So with those type of performances, things that maybe we should give some of them some more opportunities. So as me say that well, but you should all pay $10 you drop your standard, my youth. Don't say that boy players them. The players them need opportunities. When they get opportunities, see Kaim Paris was in the JPL and him go away at a young age. And now he's one of the top players in where management talk about. Shamar Nicholson playing at the JPL. He's one of the top player over Russia, right? When
Andre Blake has been one of the top goalkeepers in MLS.
Probably in the world if you look on him ratio. So
but we can't tell you, Mr. Speed, we can't go back, my great Ricardo Fuller, the one of a statue in England.
Yeah. You talk about Billy Gardner, who are probably the best Jamaica player ever. They all play in JPL. Come on, don't do that. You are cheap the argument.
Yeah, Diego Outer East, tell Diego I'm coming to turn up Bronx League this summer.
Outer East, talk is cheap, That's the first thing I ever tell him,
Talk is cheap. Yeah, man.
Cranky said the Ali Rose and the Troy Pinnock and the Jermaine Yu and the Irvine English and the man and when the great one named the foul in them, man, you have to come join the Ryan Reed and the Anthony Kurt, enough big name Pele Wilson, Nicholas McCreed, come on, Christopher Nick, Steve Green, Walter, I must stop talk.
And Nando Low, Walter Boyd, all of those people playing at JPL. Come on.
All of them.
Yeah, man. Don't do that.
Cranky is letting you know, he says he just want us to recruit the best team to give us the best chance to be successful.
Cranky, we are trying.
Oh, by the way, man, we can't leave out Stu Peace to, the band the
and Claude Davis.
Yes.
All of
them, man. Bronx League, man.
JPL.
I want that the JPL.
Well, no, and then
Eddie Siaga for a call and a friend when the team of the man them like robbing them and the man they couldn't come in up.
Yeah. And then we carry a team to the World Cup in a woman. And who you think was the outstanding star? The person who write the thing, Kwame, whatever his name. And we have girl that play now for Manchester City. Come on, don't diss our players them. A wrong thing you do, man.
Couple of things, Mr. Speed. But tell Diego Pittman United going to take Bronx League this year. All right, Diego. So, and then the next one says Leon Price, which is a good question, Mr. Speed. He's asking, will there be any overseas friendlies for the U20s or? I
can't say because those things are expensive. But one of the plans that we have is that the U20s, after we get the roughly 35 put the squad together, they will be severely tested by all the Premier League clubs in Jamaica with games. That we line up already. We know that's gonna happen.
Yeah. All right. Kwame is rephrasing his question. He says, Mr. Speed, I will rephrase. The national team is not the place to build and highlight mediocre talent. That is the club responsibility.
And you're still not do so good. It's not the club responsibility to highlight mediocre talent. We only highlight talent. Come on, you rephrase again and come back, man. We don't have business with mediocre talent. We business with talent. Anyway, national team is supposed to develop the best players, and it don't have to be players who because there's a lot of national team, even the USA, that have a 18-year-old. He wasn't. I mean, he never tried. He never matched on MLS before them. Say, hey, something special about Davis and pick him. So you see again. Badger, you have to ask me that question. Yeah. You say talent identification.
No, man, it's not Badger. Is what I mean. Yeah.
No. I mean, no, I'm going down a different tangent. You said talent identification don't have nothing to do with teams, you know. Remember, Simone said, go around and feel and them carry. Somebody can show him on a goodies name see, you know. Remember, them carry this other center from show him on a goodies name see, you know. So, talent identification, you can pick it up anywhere, you know. So, don't bother talk about JPL club. Another coach could be walking on the street and see a player and decide say he want to play to come to the national team. So it's not, and there's a lot of stories. Paul Gascoigne, remember saying father was a groundsman, and them asked him to just come scrimmage and he go to kill everybody on the field, and the rest of history. So we could remember that jump on the JPL. Talent identification is a skill where people study for, right? And people know what these different talents can do in our national program. Because I've seen when Bora come here and I came to a football match, you know, and there was a boy scored 3 goals and a boy scored 2 goals. And I said, Bora, what do you think about them boy? They call him man score goal per goal. Because that time is so naive. And Bora just look and say, the man is not good. And I say, what you mean? And him say, the number 14 are the best player on the field. I'm say, which number 14? He said, the right back over there. So, and when we start look on the right back and we get back into my mind, now I start to realize why I'm say the player had so much time to play the ball. Every time there's a space him gone through it, attacking, crossed numerous balls in the box and to see best player on the field. And then we kind of realize, so, you know, if you don't know what to look for, you keep on saying these things. You just know what to look for.
Yeah, what you're comparing it with.
Money's man. Because this one man in 30 years, the Bronx League sent players to, the Premier League sent players to New York, you know. So me can't defend the Premier League. Me see all of them. You talk about Premier League, there's a man that in 1997, I have him as the top 3 sweeper in the world. Because I play qualifying World Cup with Durant, Tati Brown.
Yes.
Top 3, you can't name 3 sweeper better than Tati Brown that year in the world.
Yes.
So me
take that right. Yeah, do a bit more. You don't want to say those players not good?
Come on. Well, one question, Mr. Reed, Mr. Speid. 2 players that came from Cavaliers. Well, Sean Lars came, but he brought a forward named Price. He played for me a little while. I like him. What's the latest on him? Whatever happened to him?
No, Price is at Mount Pleasant. Actually, I had borrowed him from Portmore United for half a season. So he's at Mount Pleasant.
Oh, my. Excellent football. I didn't know what happened to him. Okay.
Mr. Speid, so one thing I'll say, I love this idea from Leon Price. Test the U20s when they have the squad against the JPL teams or a JPL whatever, JPL All-Star, I think, or teams.
No. Each individual JPL team will play against them. Every single one. That's the pressure we're going to put them under.
Okay. All right, cool. All right. So the last time I think we spoke, last week's show, when we ended, we were talking about the purpose of the national. I think there was some misunderstanding in terms of the national team exposing players, and people were saying that you were saying. So let me because I got this phrase and I think this is it. So listen to this. The national team is not to expose players, but the national team gives players exposure.
Thank you.
Right? So it is not there to expose player, but it gives the player exposure. In other words, when a club is looking at a player in Jamaica and then he sees him in a World Cup qualifier, the national team did not expose the player. Because normally people see you before you get there. When you play in the national team, the exposure is bigger and wider. I think that is what must be communicated, because some people are going to walk away thinking like people trying to get people in the team to expose them. and you realize that playing for a national team don't get you sold really, you know.
No.
It just add to your sale value.
Let me say this, man, just to continue what you're saying. Tell them what the American Soccer Federation tell you about the senior national team. Their job is to win and make money, so the federation have money. That is the ultimate job of the national senior team, to make money. Because you make money is two ways. The American Soccer Federation, their two biggest revenue, and you can go on the website as an accountant, Mr. Speed will know. It's prize money and sponsorship. So your job is to win and collect that $10 million waiting from FIFA.
Yeah, go ahead, Mr. Speed. You're going to say something, and then
No. I'm agreeing with you, and you see, I think some people just trying to squeeze out some little points. I mean, that's all life is, and that's fine. But what happens when somebody see in a club league? It is difficult for you to assess the quality of the club league, while it's easier for you to assess the quality of a player when they play for the national team. So because if for instance, when we played the under-20 match against Mexico, and that match drew 2-2, right? Mexico went on to go to the finals of the World Cup, right? And we drop out here.
Yeah.
When we played against France in 2011, we won the 17 team in the World Cup game. We drew with France 1-1. Paul Pogba and Kurt Zouma was on the French team, and there was a lot of other players who make it big. I can't remember the rest of them, but those two I remember clearly. So, but what happened to the Jamaican players? They never go anywhere. None of those players come to except I think Alvas Paul is the only one who probably play for national teams afterwards. Which kind of give you an idea, say, what if Jamaica not only get to harness that set of play that drew with France 1-1 in 2011, we wouldn't be talking now about can't qualify for World Cup now. If we had just gotten to have those players in our professional setup, you can just imagine the type of team we would have now if those players' education continued in a more professional setup. Because what happened? Those players came back to Jamaica, and who started coaching them? That's all that means. And who started coach Paul Pogba and Kurt Zouma? That's all that. Pulisic and Alex Marshall was neck and neck in a CONCACAF under 17. I think they were even giant MVP in a one tournament. But Pulisic go Germany, then he come back, then he reach at Chelsea, then play for USA team, and just compare the two people career now. So people, you know, understand, when we find talent in a Jamaica, we must try get them out so them can be exposed to higher level football, and then come back and serve us well. That's what happened to Chippy, that's what happened to Shamar, that's what happened to Paris, that's what happened to Walter Boy, that's what happened to Anandelo, that's what happened to Claude Davis. Come on. Why are we fighting against our locals? Come on, people.
One question, Mr. Speed, and I know again because I have the big America to learn from and the Europe. Do they still have primary school football and cricket competition? Because you must start there, or you have nothing. I saw America when they realized that they needed the Latin Americans in Puerto Rico and Dominican Republic and Venezuela. They set up baseball in all the primary schools, and now half of the people playing professional baseball is from Latin America. You have to have football and cricket competition in primary school. And I think your brother told me that there's not even any cricket competition anymore. That can't happen. So is that a fact?
You're correct.
No, man, there is football. No, man, there's prep school football.
No. There's 900 primary schools. So Diego is correct. Diego, we have been let down by the organizers of those competitions. Less and less people play it every year, so we don't turn over every stone.
I'm good. That is true, but let me tell you, Diego. You know, when the kids are overseas, they go to the park and they play. You have to pay money. But so every kid play because it's not about winning. Every child, when you turn up at the game, no matter what the score line, every child on your team plays. Watch this. There's a competition going on. And a team has 27 players. And it's a 9-a-side in prep school. You know how many players have represented like one of the schools so far? The same 11 players, you know. So they make 2 substitutions. They have 27 kids. in a 9-a-side competition and only 2 substitution in around 4 games, so 11 players. This is the problem. So if you have kids at 7 and 6 and 8 training and going and they're not getting time to play, they're going to come out of the game because from the very prep school level, primary school level, the coaches are told if your team don't win, you can't coach your team again. So it's not about developing the youths at that age. That I think that is where the GFF have to step in and help the coaches to understand that this is develop at that stage is not about winning primary competition, winning prep school competition. It's about development of the youths.
Which is what we're instilling in them now in the D license courses that we're doing. And professional pro club FIFA 20, yes. Remember we talk about the 5 moments. Marcel is well aware of those 5 moments, and that's what he's going to be trying to do after we pick the squad in a 2000 April. Actually, professional, I agree with you so much. I think Jamaica can be ranking at top 20 in the world because our physical attributes that we have. We just need to become tactically aware of what the world is doing and able to do it. Because imagine we are tactically aware and then we're blessed with speed and endurance over all the rest of people and power and strength and physicality. This is what the game is all about. But you have to know what to do with those skills, with those natural attributes. And once we get it right, I am sure we'll be able to deal with a lot of these teams that can manage us in those aspects.
Yeah, anyways, Sir Diego, Sir Speed, you have to run, but Mr. Speed, me just bust you up on a player right as saying, so you don't know.
My Braxton number.
You have Braxton number?
Yeah, man.
All right. So you can work out that. Yeah, man. Diego, Mr. Speed, thanks for coming on. As usual. All the best against Mount Pleasant, but 2-1 Mount Pleasant. Understand me?
Right.
That is
we'll talk next week.
Yeah, definitely. Diego Gilfie.
Big up. Thanks again. And I appreciate the time and the opportunity for you and Mr. Speed. I appreciate it.
No problem, man.
Okay.
No problem.
Yeah, man. Take care, Diego. Respect.
Yeah, man. All right, Mr. Speed. Enjoy the rest of the evening, sir, and be safe. Okay. We will talk.
Yes.
Monday.
All right, boss. Yes,
all right. All right, people. There you go. That is the JPL review and preview show. Remember, look again, people. The merchandise has arrived. The 2022 edition. Look at them. There you go. The 2022 edition. The V-neck and the round neck. Look at this cut right here. We have them in black and we have them in white. You understand me? At the back of it, you have the big I Am Sure Sports. Listen, they are only 22 shirts are available in Jamaica and 22 are available in the United States. All right. This is the Easter edition. After that, so we didn't put them online. You have to call in an order and then you pay and you get yours. It will be delivered to you wherever you are because it's only 22 and they are going. So, I mean, thank you one and all. I want to say a big thank you to everyone who joined. Remember, if you have not yet, please hit the like button. Subscribe as well if you have not yet subscribed. We want to end by next week. We want to get to 3,000 subscribers. So please make sure you get someone else to subscribe. Can you do that for me? Find one person, maybe your girlfriend, maybe your baby mother, maybe your brother, your uncle, your sister, your mother, your father. You understand me? I don't know. Get someone else to subscribe to the platform so we can continue to grow as we continue to put out good quality content for you. Thanks to all our sponsors. Launch Legacy, where they handle risk and seek legacy. Legacy. For all your personal insurance needs in Canada and the USA, visit them at launchlegacy.com or call our text 647-989-0782. Also, big thank you to Prestige Finance, lending a helping hand when you need it the most. Call Prestige Finance at 876-884-7390. And here is the good news. You will get up to 100,000 Jamaican dollars to borrow for whatever need you have. You don't have to pay any processing fee. Same day processing. And guess what? Low 0 to 4% in terms of interest rate. All right, big thank you to Trick Nick. Trick Nick is a Jamaican owned and operated company in Canada that uses authentic Jamaican herbs and spices to make all their products. Check them out. If you want your meals to taste better, you gotta check out Chick Nick. They have barbecue sauce, hot pepper sauce, curry paste, jerk, rub, all of those fancy things. All right, and then finally, as we leave, big thank you to you again for sticking and staying with me, for all the questions, all the comments. Really appreciate it. For all the moderators, really thank you for your time. And for all the super chats that were sent in on the program, thank you so much. We have some big interviews lined up. We have one for Sunday, one for tomorrow. And then we have a big time footballer who move from football into entertainment. He's going to be on the program next week as well. So we have some good stuff in store for you as we celebrate 1 year of posting live videos on our platform. I also want to encourage you to take a listen to this promo from the William Knibb Memorial High School. Go and watch the JPL games tomorrow, Sunday, and on Monday. No vaccination necessary. You just go and watch the game. You just wash your hand as usual. If you normally wash them, sanitize them. You understand me? Yeah. So by in a park, there will be free grass for you to sit on. So don't worry about it. All right. So let me just play this. And so if you're connected to Trelawney or William Knibb, you may want to, show them some love right now. So let me just play this for you so you can hear what's happening at William Knibb about now. And then we're going to close out this video. Have a great day until we meet again, my family, my people, and my friend.
William Knibb Memorial High School D-Cup Alumni presents its 3rd annual fundraising barbecue on Memorial Day, May 30th, 2022. Wear your favorite jersey to Wilsonwood Park in Mount Vernon, New York. Remember to take exit 12 off the Hutchinson River Parkway. Music by DJ Mad Max of Sound 1000. Proceeds to aid the William Knibb High School Costa Cup team. For more information, contact Keegan 304-607-4034. Our Codfish at 954-639-2991. Proud of people, it's important. Remember, make sure say, oh no, did that.